just about set to go, but it's a pleasure to welcome in our fourth member of the broadcast today, longtime NFL offensive lineman Brian Baldinger.
Tommy, thanks a lot. Down here on the field, this Kansas State Wildcat team lost the Big 12 championship just a little over a month ago to Oklahoma. It was a devastating defeat. So devastating that head coach Bill Snyder had his team vote on a bid whether they wanted to come to the Cotton Bowl. Well, that vote was unanimous. They wanted to be here. They want to be only one of two teams in college football history to win 11 games 4 years in a row. And for the Volunteers, heck, they want to start years off right, winning their final 7 games in a row, going out on a good note. Tommy?
Brian, thank you very much. The Volunteers, led by 50-year-old Phil Fulmer, in his 8th season, 84 wins against 17 losses. The winning percentage the best among active coaches in the NCAA. On the other side of the field, the 61-year-old native of St. Joseph's, Missouri, Bill Snyder, took over this program, has done an absolutely spectacular job in getting it turned around. The last 7 years, they are 43-7.
Amazing. I'll tell you, Barry Switzer, I think, said it best, guys. Forget coach of the year, coach of the decade. This guy may be coach of the century. All college coaches that you talk to around the country, they aspire to do what Bill Snyder has done. I mean, he has built a program that was basically in the basement, taking it to the penthouse.
Maybe the hardest thing to do in sports, to take a floundering college program and turn it around.
As always, our telecast available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your remote control. So the Volunteers will get the football to begin the ball game, and Jamie Reams set to kick it away. The 65th annual Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl. Leonard Scott will take it from the 7. Good special teams coverage there by Kansas State. He's wrapped up at the 15, and that's where the Volunteers will put it in play, led by the freshman out of Northridge, California, a true freshman, Casey Clausen. It's been a remarkable year for Clausen since taking over as a starter, leading the Volunteers in a win over Alabama his first game. Up front, Coleman, Herrera, Wells, champion Munoz. Yes, you've heard that name before. The son of Anthony Munoz. Henry, an all-SEC performer. Keep an eye on Stallworth and Wilson, the wide receivers. The first down give is to Travis Henry, and he's wrapped up close to a gain of 3. Defensively, the 4th-ranked unit in the nation. And a terrific front 4. Beisel, Fautafehi, a first-team All-American. Robinson and Johnson, who led him with 11 sacks. Linebacking core, the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, Terry Pierce. Carter and Butler, the corners. McGraw, a Manhattan native, is a free safety with Cooper, the strong safety. Again, it's Henry, and he's able to cross the 20 out to the 22-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down for Tennessee.
Tommy, the reason this K-State defense is so tough to run against, believe it or not, is their cornerbacks. Their cornerbacks are so good. They lock them up man-to-man on the outside, and they stack 9 people up near the line of scrimmage to shut down that run.
And I'll tell you what, Phil Bennett's biggest concern, the defensive coordinator for Kansas State, was tackling Henry. So far, they're doing a pretty good job of that. First contact is getting Henry to the ground, which is a good sign for K-State.
See, these guys are locked up down here, man-to-man coverage.
3rd and 3. They'll stay on the ground, stay with Henry, and he is denied the first down. Close to the 25, needed to get to the 26. So it looks as though Tennessee 3 and out on its opening drive.
And you know, that's a thing that's remarkable for both of these teams, is 3rd down, 3 and outs.
Watch this stop right up the center of the field. Is where Tennessee tried to run, and right up the center of the field is where Fautafehi and that K-State defense is strongest.
42% of the time, K-State's defensive football team has made the offense go 3 and out. That's phenomenal.
David Leverton to punt it away. Good snap, and they are not even going to test kicking towards Aaron Lockett. They told us that before the game. Lockett fields at the 43-yard line, able to pick up a couple before he's tripped up close to midfield. Outstanding field position for Kansas State in its first possession. The senior quarterback out of Glendale, Arizona, is Jonathan Beasley. 20-4 as a starter since taking over for Michael Bishop 2 years ago. Up front, Stevenson, Evie, Cummins, Robertson, and Barnett. And keep an eye today on the wide receivers, Aaron Lockett and Quincy Morgan, two of the best in the land.
Jonathan
Beasley to throw on first down. Flush out of the pocket. And lofts one over the head at a wide open tight end and Shad Meyer, but Beasley overthrew him. Defensively for the Volunteers, Henderson, the Outland Trophy winner, a first-team All-American, says he's returning next year for his senior year. Speedy linebacking core led by Sessions, a senior. Out of Warner Robins, Georgia, 9.5 sacks. A secondary of Gaines and Miles, the corners. Marsh and the All-SEC performer Lott, the safety. Second and 10, Josh Scobey across the 45 to the 46. It'll bring up third and long. And Dave, you've seen Kansas State a number of times this year. They don't like the third and long situation.
No, they don't. And Tennessee, their defense has been strong on 3-and-outs as well. They've held the opposition to 3-and-out almost 45% of the time. So both of these defenses, their whole theory is tackle for loss, 3-and-out, get you off schedule.
And what you can expect right now is Tennessee to come with the blitz.
Beasley out of the shotgun. They pick up the blitz, and overthrowing a wide open Quincy Morgan was Jonathan Beasley. How hard, Tim and Dave, is it for the quarterbacks to have a good firm grip on the football today?
Well, you point out a good thing, Tommy. There was snow all over this field. They cleaned some of it off, but that ball is going to be wet. It's going to be slick. I thought Beasley threw a catchable pass. That's one Morgan needs to bring down.
And also the quarterback with the big hands that can control the football is a big key as well. Kansas State has had problems in this area protecting the punter. They've had 4 punts blocked. Tennessee has got some speed merchants that they're going to really attack Kansas State up the middle a little bit to see if they can pressure the punter.
And the punt game perhaps cost Kansas State the Big 12 championship against Oklahoma. They're coming after it. And then a shank off the side of the foot of Travis Brown. And it takes a Wildcats roll all the way inside the 20 down to the 17. The 16th time Brown has landed one inside the opposition's 20. No score from Dallas.
Well, I want to predict that Tennessee's going to have to put the ball in the air, Tommy.
Really going out on a limb there, Tim, knowing that Casey Clausen has been shredding SEC.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen him throw a pass yet, but cold weather day, he struggled against Vandy. He's got to overcome that and put the ball in the air today.
And he will put it up. Short drop and complete to Cedric Wilson, the senior All-SEC performer, tried to stretch out for a first down.
Well, you got to like Cedric Wilson, huh, Lap?
Tell you what, he's smart, he's competitive, he's a captain of this football team. The senior leadership has been outstanding, and this guy has been at the top of that class of leadership.
Yeah, I think he's an underrated guy. You see him here, he makes a nice route, just breaks to the outside, sure hands. Then watch him there. You see him stretch at the end, picks up an extra yard. That's a veteran move.
They call it a gain of 9, so 2nd and 1 for Tennessee at the 26. Clausen looking for the long ball and nearly hooked up with Eric Parker. And a coverage by Jeremetrius Butler, the junior and a native of Dallas, Texas.
And this is exactly why K-State can play 9 guys at the line of scrimmage. Jeremetrius Butler, watch his coverage on this. Look at him. Watching the receiver. He takes one glance back at the quarterback. Great speed, positioning, and makes this an impossible throw.
Another thing that he tries to do is lean into the receiver. All great corners, when they're in decent position, lean into that receiver, that extra edge.
High formation for Tennessee on 3rd and a yard. David Martin in motion. They're going to give it to Henry, and he appears to have reached the first down marker. It may be very close. He needed to get to the 27. It just depends on the spot.
Travis Henry on the carry.
It is a Tennessee first down.
Well, part of the reason Henry's so effective up the center, watch the fullback right here, Will Bartholomew. Look at the block right here. Wham, on Mario Fatafehi. and that's what springs this for a first down.
And that's what they're going to try to do to Fata Fahey. The matchup on Wells favors Fata Fahey by 40 pounds. They're going to try to attack Fata Fahey from all areas. Wham him with a fullback, trap him. Don't let him just match up on Wells alone.
First down, and Henry again slips a tackle, breaks into the secondary, and out to the 32-yard line, a gain of close to 5.
You would think with the speed that Travis Henry has, he would like to be an outside runner. He's a very effective outside runner. He can get to the corner and then use his burst. But we talked to him yesterday. He likes to run it right up the middle. I think it's because he's got a punch when the defenders hit him.
And I think that 220 pounds on that 5'11" frame, he's got that low center of gravity. In football, it's pad level. And I think he feels comfortable between the tackles with that pad level.
2nd and 5. They pitch it to Henry. Tries to cut it back to the inside. Is stopped at the 39-yard line by Jared Cooper and Terry Pierce.
You got a flag on the play, and it's either Kansas State lined up off sides or Tennessee didn't have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. And Kansas State did line up in the neutral zone. That's going to cost them 5. Those are the mistakes you can't have. Would have been 3rd and long. Now it's going to be 3rd and short with that 5-yard penalty. It's a different animal, 3rd and short.
What kind of animal is that?
That's what I'm wondering. Same thing. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, 3rd and 7 favors the defense. 3rd and 2 favors the offense.
That'd be like the difference between a Bobcat and a Wolverine.
There you go.
Yeah, or in our case today, between Smokey and Willie the Wildcat.
You know, 3rd down, both teams in 3rd down, because of the aggressive mentality of the opposition defenses, are maximum protected.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
So now it's 2nd down and short. And on 3rd down, both teams, when it was 3rd and long, maximum protected, they kept the tight end in, they kept running backs in, because both defenses like to bring one more than you can block. Now, when you get 2nd and 3rd and short, you don't have to do that. You can spread the football field.
2nd and 1 as Tennessee comes to the line of scrimmage at the 36. And an exchange problem between Clausen and Wells. It looked like Clausen covered it up.
Casey Clausen.
You know, that's part of the problem in a cold weather day. Now, Casey Clausen, we talked about how precocious he is. He plays beyond his years. But all his years were playing high school football in California. He hasn't had this kind of weather, and you see him fumble this exchange right here. When he walked out onto the field today, Tommy, the first snap he took from center, he fumbled.
Something to keep an eye on throughout the afternoon. Clausen came to Tennessee, believe it or not, during his senior year of high school. He had already reached his requirements to graduate from high school, a true freshman. And he'll throw on 3rd and 2. Into traffic. Had an eye on Wilson, no flag on the play, so the Volunteers unable to take advantage of that penalty, and they'll kick it away.
Yeah, that was a dangerous throw by Clausen. He's looking for Cedric Wilson, but there's a safety underneath. Watch McGraw right here. See McGraw breaks in front. Could have been an interception for the Wildcats.
And this is the area of the game that I think is going to be critically important today, the kicking game. Both teams want their special teams to be special. Field position is going to be dictated by who makes the big play and avoids the big mistake.
Well, they're not even going to kick it to Lockett today. Phil Fulmer told us that yesterday. Lockett, the leading punt returner in the nation, although he's going to get a chance here.
Yep, he missed the directional kick.
At the 32, and now Lockett breaks the tackle. One flag is down on the play as Lockett takes it to the end zone.
Wow.
His 4th punt return for a touchdown this year, but again, a penalty flag is down. Back at the 35-yard line.
Critical mistake by punter David Leverton for Tennessee. He lined up to kick that thing to the left and out of bounds. It went off the right side of his foot, right down the pipe to Lockett.
Basically, he shanked it. Instead of shanking it out of bounds, shanked it to the middle of the football field.
But DeMarcus Fagan is going to have blocking in the back, I believe, and that's what's going to call this thing back.
You know, in college football, not to interrupt, they don't tell you what player is guilty of the infraction.
Well, I think we're going to see it, though.
Yeah, the thing mentioned that
On the return, illegal block in the back, on the receiver, 10 yards, spotted a foul, first down.
Well, here he is right here, number 21, and you're going to see this block right in the back of Dan Stacy. Watch that. Clearly called by the official. Good job. A great wall by K-State.
Well, I mentioned who makes the big play and avoids the big mistake is going to be in good shape. Big play and big mistake made by the same team on the same play. the big mistake negates the big play. And field position now is a problem because of the penalty. The kicking game is going to be monumental on a track like this, where it takes away some of the speed that you have in the skill positions offensively.
That would have been the first punt return for a touchdown in a Cotton Bowl game since the great Lance Allworth back in 1961 brought one back 49 yards.
Bambi, Lance Allworth. How about that? And really, there's a very little margin for error when you're directional kicking. You know, if Leverton mishits the football, if you mishit the football when you're trying to punt down the middle of the field, it just goes out of bounds harmlessly. You mishit it trying to kick it to a sideline, it goes right down the pike, and that's why they don't want Lockett to handle the football. He averaged over 20 yards per punt return, led the nation.
The question I have for you guys, and I mentioned right before the punt, Phil Fulmer said, we are not going to kick the ball to Aaron Lockett here today. How does that happen if you're the Volunteers?
Punter missed it.
Shanked it.
Mishit it. Mishit the football. Instead of shanking it out of bounds,
the thing about Leverton is he's got such a strong leg that even on a shank, it looks like the real thing. Also an academic all-SEC guy.
3.5 student.
He was named to the American Football Coaches Association Good Works team for all of his work in the community. So Kansas State play fake. Beasley rolling and throws. The catch made by Shad Meyer, the senior out of Pittsburgh, Kansas. Good enough for a first down to the 42.
This is what Jonathan Beasley gives you when he's at his best. When he's at his best, he can move the pocket. He's got the feet. You watch him, it's just a little half roll here. And when you roll like that, it enables the field to open up in front of you, and you can find guys like Meyer.
And changing the launch point to avoid that rush inside is a good idea, too. I mean, they're trying to rush up the middle with the blitzes, and getting him on the edge is a great idea.
First down, Josh Scobey with a big hole up the middle, and Scobey close to midfield before being shot down out at the 48-yard line.
Well, Kansas State offensive coordinator Ron Hudson told us yesterday, if we can run up the center of the field, we're going to be a lot better off. And right here, Scobey runs up the center, and it's really because of some nice blocking up front by that K-State O-line.
Option Beasley, a dangerous pitch. Scobey able to handle it and has a first down into Tennessee territory, shoved out of bounds at the 45.
The key on that, Rock Cartwright. Unbelievable block by the fullback on the edge.
And he is a man.
He is the man. In Kansas State, their philosophy is run to the edge to stretch the defense horizontally and then hammer the ball with the power running attack inside. But 25 in the dark jersey, the cut block on the edge, boom. Down you go, and you got you got the corner secured.
And I think that despite the field, you have to do what you do. And what K-State does is they let Cartwright get out in front on that option and cut guys down.
Talk about pad level, 5'8", 242. He's under your pads automatically.
Lockett in motion. They'll give it to Scobey once again. Trying to pick out a hole and down close to the 40-yard line. A gain of nearly 4 for Josh Scobey. The Wildcats' leading rusher this season took over for David Allen, who injured his ankle the first game of the year.
I tell you, a team that has speed defensively like Tennessee, I think, Tim, the best way to attack them is between the tackles with quick hitters. You agree with that?
Yeah.
Run at that speed?
Oh, I do. With John Henderson, the Outland Trophy winner, right in the center there, his best thing is push on the line of scrimmage. So sometimes he'll create a vertical seam right here.
Natural gap, yeah.
In the option, here comes the reverse. Quincy with a lot of running room and a couple of men to beat inside the 30 and wrapped up down at the 28-yard line by Andre Lott. Surprise, surprise. Oregon only 3 rushes the entire year.
See, in my mind, this is the confidence that Kansas State has working on this track because they've been there and done that. They're a lot more open with their offense. They're a lot more creative. That's a high-risk play on a field like this in cold weather. They're unloading all the bullets out of the gun, though, and I think Tennessee's being a little bit more conservative because of the track and the temperatures.
3 carries, a total of 11 yards coming into this one. That one a gain of 13. Scobey, and he is met immediately, leading the charge. The Outland Trophy winner, the first-team All-American, John Henderson.
This is kind of what you expect from that Tennessee defense. Just a dominant force on the line of scrimmage from Henderson. no place to run up the center of the field.
Well, look at Henderson, that huddle. He's a half a story taller than everybody.
And on that play, I mean, he crossed two guys' faces like they were standing still.
Man, he is, I tell you, he is a strong body, 6'7". I think he plays a little bit high. He's got to bend his knees a little better, but he is strong body.
Cartwright, the lone setback, 3-receiver set. And Beasley with lots of room across the 20 and close to the 10-yard line. Beasley set a Kansas State record with 17 rushing touchdowns this year. On the ground, he ran for nearly 700 yards.
Yeah, let's take a look at this block by Thomas Barnett, number 65. Look at him here on the linebacker, Anthony Sessions. He takes a whooping, but he does everything he has to do. He uses up Sessions, uses up his body, and springs Beasley. Then you see more blocking by Morgan downfield as well.
And the thing is, when you only have one back in the backfield with Beasley in the shotgun, it's still two backs. Beasley is a running back that has a throwing arm, so it's a two-back set. You got to account for Beasley as a runner as well as a thrower in the shotgun.
First down just outside the 10, and Lockett on an inside handoff, read beautifully by the Volunteer defense, all the way up to make the stop, the linebacker Anthony Sessions. Let's go downstairs to Brian Baldinger.
Thanks, Tom. We're talking about the track today. The track actually is very good. Everybody is wearing the 7-stud grass cleats. Nobody in this drive from Kansas State has slipped on this field. It's actually getting better as the players play on it because it's breaking up the snow and the ice. This 3 inches yesterday in Texas, a blizzard by their standards.
Thanks, Baldy. Hey, you know, the thing that I'm more concerned about than the track, and you raise a good point with those long cleats, is the ball. Can they keep that ball from getting slick?
Loss of 4, 2nd and goal for Kansas State, and Beasley under heavy fire, but finds room to the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas State.
That's his 18th. 18th on the ground, counting the regular season action. Boy.
Think about Kansas State and Tennessee. They bring some of the best fans in all of college football.
They do it. When you see Beasley here, think about Donovan McNabb in the NFL, Dante Culpepper, Cade McNown. It's the new prototype quarterback that can throw on the run and run for a touchdown.
And that was a called play. That was a quarterback draw.
And just clearing the crossbar is Ream. So Jonathan Beasley in his final college game, the Glendale, Arizona native, to the end zone, our first score.
8 straight times they got that home field advantage, and Minnesota's got a lot of offense.
Poor kickoff by Ream, and it's out of bounds.
40-yard line.
And they'll bring it out to the 40. That is a rule in college football. So terrific field position for the Volunteers. They have struggled in the early going offensively.
Kicking game. In a day like this, huge, huge factor.
We have a procedure against Kansas. Kick out of bounds. By rule, the ball is put on a 35-yard line. First down.
You heard the Kansas State crowd react to that when the official said Kansas. Yeah. This is Kansas State. First over their last 48 games, and they have an early 7-0 lead. Third possession for the Volunteers.
See all these safeties right here? They're going to have to throw that football.
Play fake, Clausen across the middle. The reception is made down to the 37-yard line. An outstanding catch it was by Eric Parker.
It was a great catch, but Tommy, this is an even better throw. Watch the mark that Casey Clausen puts this ball on. Good coverage by Dyshad Carter. You're going to see him break right here to the center of the field. Watch Clausen. Look at the accuracy.
Well, that's thrown with some nice anticipation there. Parker's got chronic arthritis. He doesn't look like he has any problems there. Tendonitis, they call him broke down. He wasn't broken down on that play.
28-yard gain. Again, a play fake. And again, Clausen to throw, looking for Wilson down the middle of the field and broken up. Good coverage that time by Dyshad Carter.
I think Tennessee is smart right here. And Randy Sanders, offensive coordinator, is saying, look, if you're going to open up the center of the field to bring your safeties up to stop our run, you see this here? There's nobody deep back here. Everybody's up to stop the run. That opens up these deep post patterns in the center of the field. I think Tennessee's going to continue to go there.
No doubt about it. In the corners for Kansas State, they're just going to have to hold up, or else they're going to have to drop one of those safeties back in the hole. Center fielder.
Henry, the lone set back on 2nd and 10. Pump fake now to the corner, and it's overthrown. Looked like the wide receiver, Derek Martin, got locked up. Yeah. David Martin with the defender, and a flag comes in late. I think John McGraw is the safety who got tangled up with David Martin.
Sure did. They got safeties matched up on receivers. Tennessee did by formation. They had Cooper matched up on a receiver, and McGraw matched up on a receiver one-on-one. Kansas State doesn't want that. They don't want their safeties matched up one-on-one in coverage against Tennessee's wide receivers. That's not a matchup favorable to the Wildcats.
I'll tell you, if McGraw had him, it wasn't much of a hold.
Holding on an eligible receiver. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Take a look at it. Here's McGraw right here covering David Martin.
David Martin, a big receiver, Tim.
See what?
Yeah, he grabbed the waist a little bit.
I don't see that. Yeah. I don't see that as a hold. But like I said, if it wasn't much.
3 receivers at the top of your screen on a first down for the Volunteers at the 28-yard line. Great protection. And throwing into coverage. It's intercepted by Jeremitrius Butler. Miscommunication, it appeared there, between the quarterback and wide receiver, and Clausen throws it right into the arms of Butler.
And Tommy, a great defensive adjustment by K-State coordinator Phil Bennett, because what he does is he rolls the safety over the top, and that lets Butler break underneath and come up with the interception.
His 7th of the season. 7 picks for Butler.
And Clausen, his 7th thrown. K-State with the ball when we return.
K-State cornerback Jeremitrius Butler on the coverage here. Lets Wilson go past him and picks this off, because watch, in the screen is going to be John McGraw. See him right there, the safety, 38. He's got over the top. Butler's got underneath, and he comes up with a big pick.
You think red zone had anything to do with that? Go zone coverage in the red zone like that?
Hey, I think that Phil Bennett, the D coordinator for K-State, kind of lured Tennessee into that. They left it open. All of a sudden, double coverage.
Beasley hands it off to Scobey, and he is hammered at the line of scrimmage. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, and the first man to meet him. Right there, Henderson, along with some company.
No, I mean, John Henderson is amazing. I mean, he went through 3 guys on this play. Watch him here. He's got a guard. He's got a center. Watch him right here. Through the guard, through the center. Here he is, right there.
That's Hainsworth.
That's
the other big boy.
That's what you get when you listen to the play-by-play guy.
Well, there he is, though.
Yeah.
And he's right back into it.
But, I mean, you got 2 guys
over telestrating skills.
6'6", 6'7", over 300.
Is that you on the telestrator lap?
Yeah, right.
Beasley keeps it and carries across the 35 out to the 36. Tackled there by Willie Miles, so it'll bring up 3rd down for Kansas State. A 7-0 lead at the 4-minute mark here in the opening quarter.
I think Kansas State's going to go maximum protection. They have every single 3rd down. Now, this is 3rd and short, but by maximum protection, they've kept backs in and the tight end in to help in protection against Tennessee's blitz. Let's see if they do it on 3rd and short. So far today, every 3rd down, they've gone maximum protection.
3rd and 2. We give it to Scobey. First down and then some. Scobey turns a corner, crosses midfield, banged out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
Did you see Aaron Beasley make that adjustment at the line of scrimmage? That's why I think this guy can be an NFL player. He sees the field, he reads the defense, he changes it to a run play from a pass. Jonathan Beasley with the checkoff at the line, and Scobey with the run for the first.
And it was a power O. They pulled Eby, the left guard, and Rock Cartwright had the kick-out block. Great block by fullback, great block by pulling guard.
So here he is again. He likes to make those adjustments at the line.
Sometimes he's false calling out there, too.
Out of the shotgun, Beasley, good protection, throws to Lockett and overthrows a speedy wide receiver inside the 15. You know, Kansas State, we talked at the opening of the telecast, was going to be a tall order to try and run the football against Tennessee. The Volunteers allow 74 yards on the ground per game.
Right.
Kansas State has already rushed for 91 yards in the first quarter.
But the thing is, Kansas State has rushed for 198 yards per game themselves. You know, they've really done a heck of a job. They've rushed for over 100 yards 14 straight games.
You know, Tommy, most of those yards have belonged to Beasley, the quarterback, and Morgan, the wide receiver, on a reverse.
Inside handoff to Rock Cartwright. He had a breakthrough game against Oklahoma, but he runs into a jailbreak there at the 45-yard line, led by Eric Westmoreland along with Will Overstreet.
When you talk about Tennessee's ability to stop the run, your mind goes immediately to Eric Westmoreland and the range that he's got in the center of the field here. He's got the ability to move laterally across the line of scrimmage and then vertically up into the line to make the play.
Westmoreland, a first-team All-SEC performer, a Butkus Awards semifinalist, had 3 sacks in 1 game against Kentucky this year. 3rd and 12, and Beasley. Good protection, wide open receiver, but the knee made contact with the ground, or that could have been a huge gain.
But once again, Kansas State on 3rd and long went maximum protection. They kept their tight end in. Tight end Meyer stays in protection, helping the offensive line. Offensive line all doing a job up front. To the outside of the screen, out of the picture, is tight end Meyer.
A lot of purple.
As a 6th blocker up there, providing an opportunity for Beasley to have his vision unimpeded down the field.
And then a miscue by Tennessee's defensive backfield, leaving Lockett wide open.
Second punt of the afternoon for Travis Brown. And Andre Lott has dropped back to receive the punt, standing at his own 10-yard line. And now penalty flag. They are going to eat 5 yards and give Brown a little more room to work with.
Delay a game. Offense. 5 yards. Still 4th down.
Kansas State has not done a whole lot of directional kicking this season. I think they'll still pooch punt, but it's easier to pooch from 5 yards further back. More field to work with.
And let's see if the Volunteers again come after Brown. We talked about their woes in the punt game against Oklahoma. Nope. Beautiful punt by Brown, and it takes a Wildcat roll inside the 5-yard line.
Field position, hidden yards, huge. Special teams being special right there.
Twice Travis Brown has pinned Tennessee inside the 15.
And you can't say enough about that in this type of weather condition.
Our game summary brought to you by our outstanding sponsor at the Cotton Bowl, Southwestern Bell. And Kansas State running at will against a stingy rush defensive Tennessee.
Yeah, Tommy, you pointed out accurately. That's the big difference in the game, the rushing yards by K-State so far. But remember, a lot of that was from Beasley on the scramble and also Morgan on a reverse.
Travis Henry hammered at the line of scrimmage by the first-team All-American Mario Faudafehi, the senior native of Honolulu.
And that's the guy we talked about that needs to control the line of scrimmage. He's going against Wells, and he has a 40-pound advantage. Watch him right in here. Get it done.
And you see Faudafehi's in there with his fellow Hawaiian, Jerry Tangiai. I love the story about these two guys get going in practice. They start talking Hawaiian back and forth. And no one knows what the heck they're saying.
Yeah. And you know what? Talk about Kansas State's rush defense after the play here. They're pretty darn good, too.
Henry trying to break it to the outside, and Travis Henry a first down across the 30-yard line. A huge play for Tennessee, tripped up by John McGraw.
Remember how I said Travis Henry has the speed to get to the corner? That's exactly what he does on this play, because Jared Cooper, the safety for Kansas State, he's got him. but Henry gets to the corner, gives him the stiff arm, and accelerates for the first.
Yeah, you can't coach speed, and Henry's got enough to get to the edge. You know, Kansas State, they were 14th in the country themselves, allowing only 98 yards a game on the ground. They're pretty salty against the rush as well.
Yeah, but they do it by this, stacking up the safeties.
Final play of the opening quarter, and Clausen escapes trouble, rolls right, a little flip, and into the open field. It's Henry, and he's across the 40, close to another first down. A gain of 11, outstanding mobility by the freshman Casey Clausen.
Clausen looked more like Jonathan Beasley than Beasley on that play.
That is the final play of the opening quarter. Kansas State with a 7-0 lead. Fox coverage of the Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl will continue after these messages. Part of it. Clausen out of the shotgun. Great protection. Looking downfield, and the reception is made by Wilson. All the way to the 17-yard line. What a throw by Clausen.
Hey, throw by Clausen, but the most impressive part of this play here is the adjustment by Cedric Wilson. Amazing. Watch him. He thinks this ball is coming to the inside. Watch him look to the inside. He sees where it is. Look at this adjustment. That is beautiful work by a receiver and the most difficult catch to make.
It was outstanding. I mean, he looked like a center fielder. Willie Mays going back to the wall, adjusting to the ball.
41-yard gain. Tennessee knocking on the door. Clausen again to throw across the middle. Touchdown, Tennessee to David Martin.
Broken coverage there, Tim.
I think really more than just a linebacker not getting enough depth on that underneath route.
And that linebacker you're speaking of was Kazar. Kazar just kind of froze a little bit. I think he thought he had help over the top of him. He just kind of froze up.
You're going to see Kazar come in from the right side of the screen. He's a linebacker. He's got to drive underneath this slant pass. You see him there? Just not enough depth in his drop.
Alex Walls, the point after, is good. So David Martin, who caught the first ever touchdown pass thrown by Casey Clausen, catches Clausen's first bowl touchdown pass.
See Clausen read that coverage? That was precocious.
Go 23 yards per attempt on a drive throwing the ball. You get it done.
And another poor kick. Well, perhaps they're deciding not to kick it there and lock it. You can't blame him for that. He already had a punt return brought back that he raced 67 yards for a touchdown. And once again, Kansas State will get the ball with excellent field position out at the 35-yard line.
Procedure. Kicking team. Kick out of bounds. By rule. On the 35. First down.
Let's go downstairs to Brian Baldinger.
Thanks, Tom. When Tennessee is in the shotgun, Casey Clausen back there, it's a silent count. So the two guards and tackles hold hands at the line of scrimmage. When the guard releases, the tackle knows that it's free for him to move. It enables the tackle to get an advantage, looking at his end and not have to worry about the count or the ball.
First down pitch on the option to Scobey, and he is tripped up after a gain of 8. And on the stop, Stephen Marsh coming up from his free safety position.
You know, on that holding hands deal, I like it if there's crowd noise. But to me, if I might want to widen my defensive end, I have a speed guy like Tim Green on the edge. I might want to try to widen him a little bit and keep that pocket wide. Holding hands sometimes constricts your splits a little bit, you know?
I know you like it, but I want you to let go of mine.
Big Michael Munoz along that front line of the Volunteers. Beasley looking to answer. Clausen has Morgan. Touchdown, Kansas State.
Woo, pitch and catch there.
7 yards. Beasley hooking up with Quincy Morgan, and that is his 15th touchdown reception of the year.
There is a penalty flag, but it's holding on Tennessee that'll be declined. Kansas State will take the play because it's Quincy Morgan to the house. Man, you know, on his touchdowns, he had 23 touchdowns in 24 games coming in, averaging 38.5 yards per touchdown catch. He's not hurting his average with that one at all.
Deep speed and wonderful hands.
Size, strength. He's first-round draft pick. He'll be playing big on Sunday.
Now Ream for the point after, and just like that, Kansas State getting the long ball. Beasley, a beauty to Morgan, and the Wildcats regain the lead by 7. He will be playing on Sundays, looking ahead to next year.
Yeah, he'll be a first-round draft choice, no doubt about it.
Line drive kick, poorly handled back at the 5-yard line, but across the 25 and close to the 30 is Leonard Scott. So a pretty good return right there for the Volunteers.
Well, you know, it starts with Josh Scobey. Watch him right here pick up Stevenson on the blitz. Stevenson's going to come, and Josh Scobey's just going to detonate.
Good work for a tailback, you know. I like the X's and O's on this play, Lap. I like what Ron Hudson did. What he does, he runs a safety off with Lockett to the inside. So watch Marsh. He's going to bite on that post right there. And then that's what springs Morgan behind the deep safety.
Morgan's size-speed ratio is a nightmare.
Play action, and Clausen again to the air, and he missed a wide open Cedric Wilson out at the 40-yard line.
That was a timing pass right there, and Wilson had a little trouble coming out of his break.
You know, you referenced it earlier. Casey Clausen coming to Tennessee in January, taking 16 credit hours so he could work out with the football team the entire spring.
And then when practice started in the late summer, early fall, he had to battle through tendonitis, was held out of the first 2 games before making his debut against Louisiana Monroe. The first play through a touchdown pass, took over as a starter against Alabama and has led him to 6 straight wins. Only a 2-yard gain there by Henry. It'll bring up 3rd and long.
I don't know. I'm wondering, I might want to finish my high school career. I might want to go to my senior prom, you know, do the things you do as a high school senior. But I can understand a quarterback like that wanting to go in and get a jump on.
Hey, this guy, his dad was a coach, is a coach, and he built his world around being a big-time quarterback, and he did it right, and it's working.
And bear in mind, he was 3rd on the depth chart because of that tendonitis. When practice started, Joey Matthews started the opener. A.J. Suggs started 4 games before Clausen took over. 3rd down and 8, and Clausen down the sideline, nearly making the adjustment with Wilson, but outstanding coverage by Terrence Newman.
Again, I like the adjustment by Phil Bennett, D coordinator for K-State, because he's got 2 men here. You're going to see Cooper, the safety, come over. So there's 2 guys, and that makes that pass almost impossible for Clausen to complete.
And Newman did a great job of handling double move.
There's Phil Bennett right there.
Texas A&M grad in 1977. Phil Bennett, all Southwest Conference performer.
He's going to be a head coach one day, too.
No doubt about it. And that one will roll down to the 41. In fact, he interviewed for the TCU job, but will stay at least another year at K-State, and they lead by 7. Years ago, and he has dedicated his life, not that he didn't beforehand, but very much an integral part of his 2 children, his son Sam, his daughter Maddie. We understand one of the great soccer players in all of Manhattan, Kansas.
Phil Bennett's got a big heart.
I'll tell you, I'd make him my head coach if I had a university. No question about it.
And Ron Hudson, the offensive coordinator for Kansas State as well. Very, very capable as a head coaching candidate.
Beasley out of the shotgun. Again, great protection and a collision as Lott came up to make the hit as Lockett was trying to hang on to the football.
This is what Andre Lott gives you in the center of the field. Watch the break here. Catchable ball for Lockett. He's still looking it in, but all of a sudden, bang, blown up.
Well, Lott was projected as a potential 2nd rounder at cornerback, now playing safety. he's coming back to Tennessee for his 5th year. Instead of coming out to the draft, he's going to stay at Tennessee for a 5th season. Andre Lott, plenty of size, and as you saw, will thump you.
Second team All-SEC performer. Beasley again, great protection, and misses the intended target, Brandon Clark. 3rd down and 10 for the Wildcats.
You know, you talk about the protection, and I agree for the most part it's been outstanding for Kansas State. They only gave up 9 sacks all season long. They generated 39 defensively, only gave up 9. And that's why Jonathan Beasley is able to make the throws down the football field that he's made all season long. A +30 ratio in the sack department's big time.
Third and 10, and the Volunteer faithful looking for a stop. Fake handoff to Cartwright. Beasley guns it across the middle. What a catch made by Brandon Clark. He caught 4 passes the entire year. He looked like Fred Bolitnikoff turning around to make that catch.
Boy, this makes your quarterback pretty doggone happy. You're going to see him right here. He's going to break in this in pattern right to the center of the field. Beasley throws it behind him. Beautiful effort.
He lined up basically as a tight end by position. He's a 6'3", 220-pound wide receiver. So, I mean, he is a type of tight end size guy, undersized tight end.
Hey, a guy does that, you get him the ball again.
Yep.
Beasley steps up, throws, looking for Morgan. The catch is made inside the 10. What a throw by Beasley.
And that, guys, is Kansas State at its best. Beasley averages almost 18 yards per completion. Kansas State gets the ball down the football field. They don't dink and dunk.
Hey, this is good coverage by Willie Miles from Tennessee. This is just a perfectly thrown pass. Look at this.
Right over the shoulder.
I mean, that's a big-time throw by Beasley.
And Morgan talked about the size-speed mismatch. Bigger guy. I mean, the deal there, it wasn't a speed mismatch, it was a size mismatch.
Yeah, he drove him to the inside.
Yeah, and that bigger body gave Beasley a target to hit, and boy, he put it in a tight area.
You don't see a better throw than that one by Beasley.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you can make a better throw by Dan Marino than that one right there. And give immediately wrapped up David Allen, the senior out of Liberty, Missouri. He injured his ankle the opening game of the season, coming off a terrific season last year, mainly as a special teams performer, and had an eye on the starting tailback job, but then hurt in the first game of the year.
I'll tell you, if anybody's going to knock you down, it's Albert Haynesworth. I know that John Henderson's the guy with the Outland Trophy, but this kid Haynesworth, he is a power himself. Watch him right here. Watch him work.
He jumps off that tape at you that we were studying, I'll tell you.
Beasley escapes one tackle and is wrapped up at the 10-yard line by a host of Volunteers, so it'll bring up 3rd down for Kansas State. The ball came loose.
Yeah.
We couldn't tell from here, but Tennessee gets a fumble recovery. Eric Westmoreland covered up, and Beasley pleading with the official, saying that's not a fumble, I was already down.
Yeah, Kansas State, they're all pleading with him. I wonder if this one will be overruled. Beasley saying there's no way. I was long down before that ball came out. Let's see. Well, it's ripped out of there by Westmoreland. Now they call him
forward progress.
Yeah, forward progress
On the 10-yard line.
They ruled his. Wow, they ruled.
Well, I don't know about
forward
that.
progress.
I think if you've got an instant replay rule like you do in the NFL, this thing is going to be Tennessee football.
Yeah, he's lurching forward for more yards, and Westmoreland rips it out of there.
Haynesworth is the guy that drives him from the pocket. You see right there. Watch Westmoreland come in from the right here. Watch him rip this thing out. Now, Beasley's feet are still moving. He looks like he's going forward when that ball comes out of there.
Well, that's a gift there.
That's a big-time gift there for Kansas State. So Beasley brings him to the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd down. That ball clearly stripped before Beasley was ruled down.
Well, he raked it out of there.
Blitz coming. They dump it off. And Morgan goes in for the Kansas State touchdown.
Wide receiver screen. He scored so many touchdowns on this. Almost half his touchdowns have been on the wide receiver screen.
You know, the thing I love about this play is the guts it takes for that wide receiver to come right into the center of the defense and run this thing. You see it in the NFL all the time, but they run it out at the perimeter. Quincy Morgan doesn't mind coming to the center here because he used to play tailback in high school. He said, hey, I feel like I'm a running back sometimes.
Yeah, he gets in there. He's familiar with making moves off of offensive lineman's block.
Point after, right down the middle for Jamie Reed. So Morgan, his second touchdown of the ball game. They take advantage of the bad call and cash in. Here in Texas, Leonard Scott waiting at his own goal line, and he'll take it from the 3. Finds a seam, and Scott across the 30 and banged out of bounds at the 40-yard line by the kicker, Jamie Reed.
On the return.
Take a look at Quincy Morgan. He's going to motion here. Watch the offensive linemen do their thing, make their blocks. And Quincy Morgan feels very comfortable coming to the middle of the football field. It's a middle screen to the wide receiver. The offensive line times it up well. And Quincy Morgan does his thing. Great vision. Second touchdown reception of the day. One for distance and one for the short yardage on the middle screen.
Talked about the day so far for Quincy Morgan. Rolling right is Clausen, looking downfield, just puts it out and nearly intercepted.
Ben Lieber, the big boy.
Junior out of Vermillion, South Dakota, Ben Lieber.
You know, Clausen has to dump this thing off underneath because of the coverage downfield by Newman. So he just goes through this little dump off pass. You can see Newman in the background. He's covering Parker. Watch it here. Watch this coverage, and there's no place for Clausen to throw this thing. Nice position. He's toe for toe.
They don't jam you. They get on your hip and run with you. You know, they don't jam you and reroute you.
Clausen, a short drop, dangerous throw, and nearly intercepted again. Terrence Newman on the coverage. Clausen struggling here. He had the one impressive drive, but now 5 of 14 in the game.
They're mixing up the coverages on him, Tommy, and what happens, Newman can hang back here because, again, see the safety underneath? See Jared Cooper right there?
Oh, he kissed him, didn't he?
He whopped him.
Man, face mask to face mask.
But,
hello.
But K-State, from a scheme standpoint, is making this a very difficult day for the young quarterback.
And I think that's a great idea by Phil Bennett. It's a young guy, even though he's mature beyond his years, like you say, Tim. There's nothing like snaps, experience, reference point, and he's given him a multitude of looks.
Play clock running all the way down to under 5, so Clausen will spend a timeout. Kansas State with 10-11 left to play until halftime, leading 21-7.
You know, and the other thing with Casey Clausen, this Kansas State defensive football team, guys, has great team speed. And Tennessee was comparing both sides of the football of Kansas State to Georgia. We know what Georgia has for team speed in the SEC. I think the speed factor, I think openings that Casey Clausen saw during the regular season aren't there. I think Kansas State's rallying to the football pretty well.
Well, K-State held their last 3 opponents to less than 320 yards in total offense. That moved them into 4th place overall in total defense in the country. And they ranked nationally in all 4 major defensive statistical categories. So they can shut you down trying to run, shut you down trying to throw it.
Well, it's a tough task, but, you know, this guy, if anyone is up to it as a freshman, it's Casey Clausen. I mean, everyone knows about Peyton Manning and what a great career he had at Tennessee. But if you look at these two guys, very similar, except Clausen had more yards, more completions, a higher completion percentage, and more touchdowns than even Peyton Manning.
All freshman records. Pretty outstanding year.
As was his 362 passing yards in a win over Kentucky.
Changing up the protection.
Yep.
They barely got that play off. 3rd and 10, and down goes Clausen in the arms of
Johnson.
Yep, Chris Johnson getting his 12th sack of the year.
Hey, you can change up the protection all you want. But when Chris Johnson brings his speed from the corner, there is no solution for it. Watch him right here, and he just takes the edge on Coleman, races right around him, and it's another sack for Johnson.
Well, those speed rushers, you got to widen them out, man. Get them as far away from that quarterback as you possibly can. Take those big splits.
Lockett had a punt return for a touchdown called back. They angle towards the sideline, and it will roll down to the 35-yard line. 30-yard punt. 9:26 to play until halftime. You saw Johnson coming around the corner on the junior Coleman. I tell you, one guy we haven't called his name very much today, the senior, all Big 12 performer Monty Beisel, and he's been locked up with the freshman, the true freshman, Michael Munoz.
Yeah, Michael Munoz is a heck of a player. When you start in the SEC as a true freshman at the tackle position, that's big time. He's the first to do that since Bill Wade back in 1981 for the Tennessee Volunteers. And Michael Munoz, 6'7", 310 pounds, and he's got the great gene pool of the legendary Anthony Munoz.
Hopefully we'll hear from Anthony Munoz.
He got the whole
today.
pool, too.
Yeah, he did.
He got the deep end.
Yeah, he didn't just get the 4-foot end. He got the 12-foot end.
Right.
Oh,
Beasley hammered, but was able to get rid of the football. Boy, they brought Anthony Sessions.
And, you know, I like what Tennessee coordinator John Chavis is doing right here, because I think this is the time for Tennessee's defense to come up with a series of big plays to regain some of the momentum. So he takes a gamble. He rolls Sessions from the outside. He comes unblocked against Beasley.
you know, one interesting contrast between these two teams. Sessions is the only junior college player on the Tennessee roster when he starts. Kansas State has 14 junior college players and 4 start.
Second and 10, short drop by Beasley, and the ball batted down at the line of scrimmage by Will Overstreet.
Yeah.
Boy, Overstreet the whole package, and there are so many stories like this on both of these teams. The second team All-SEC performer is Overstreet on the field. First team All-SEC, All-Academic team.
Well, their coaches love him too, don't they? Their eyes light up when they talk about Will Overstreet and the effort that he gives. You know, I talk about John Henderson and how he plays every minute as if it's the last in the game. I think Overstreet really sets the standard for that whole defensive line.
Third and 10, Tennessee bringing, and again on the catch, it's Morgan, and has a first down across the 45. Morgan, a one-man wrecking crew against this volunteer defense today.
You know, I talked about the junior college players, 14 of them in 4 start. This is one of them, Quincy Morgan. And you know what? Repeating plays as an offensive coordinator, I think it's a great idea. A tip ball, a deflected ball, and Quincy Morgan makes the adjustment to the football. Looked like Stevenson rerouted it, and Quincy Morgan just made the play.
Yeah, well,
but I like repeating plays if it's
sometimes
successful.
things are going your way, though.
Yeah, right.
Lap. I mean, heck, Dominique Stevenson tipped that ball. He had the play broken up, and it just went right into Morgan's hands.
I like the repeat, though, of a successful play. I really do.
Dropped for a 1-yard loss is Scobey in the backfield. It'll bring up second down and 11 for Kansas State. That's how you know your new year is getting off to a good start.
Right. You've been living right. There's no doubt. The one thing, though, about Kansas State in this junior college deal, that's how Bill Snyder helped turn this thing around so quickly. He's putting his bat on the ball with junior college players. On this team, Scobey, you got Rock Cartwright, you got Quincy Morgan, Mario Fatafehi. That's putting your bat on the ball now.
Option and read beautifully by the Tennessee defense. Overstreet was there, had help from Amari Hand.
I think Overstreet put his bat on the ball.
And Bill Snyder, you know, this isn't the only year he's done that, is go successfully to junior college ranks. Remember Frank Murphy, the running back for Kansas State that got drafted in the NFL? Remember a guy named Michael Bishop that's now at the New England Patriots? Junior college players that Bill Snyder went out and recruited and said, you can fit into my system. Your athletic abilities and talents fit my system. You're going to help me turn this around quickly. He's been a master at it.
Another third and long for Kansas State. Beasley steps up, throws across the middle, and another first down. This time to Aaron Lockett. Beasley delivering on 2 3rd and longs this drive.
And Aaron Lockett has the quickness. And watch him drive downfield. He reads the zone, okay? He sees the zone set up, and watch him break and sit down right in the hole of the zone.
There's a guy that averages 18 yards a touch. Big play guy.
Beasley is hit on 8 of 15, 162 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Play clock may have expired before Beasley took the football from Randall Cummins. Yep, delay of game. Let's go downstairs to Brian Baldinger.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. When the Kansas State offensive linemen come off the field while the defense is on, they've been spraying their hands with magic grip. It makes the hands sticky, so when they grab the shirt and the cloth of the Tennessee defensive linemen, they are grabbing cloth and they're hanging on to it. Thus, great protection so far for Jamie Beasley.
Brian Baldinger sounds like one of your old tricks, my friend.
I don't want to let too many of them out here.
They've lapped them as well. A couple big offensive lineman cheaters on the broadcast crew today.
Hey, Baldy, how about silicone on the jersey so they can't grab us, man?
I haven't seen that so far.
Scobey is tripped up down to the 42-yard line. And the drive continues for Kansas State. A gain of 7.
And as I said earlier, Tommy, I think what Tennessee needs now more than anything, they got to come up with a big play on defense. They've got to reverse the momentum of this game, get that ball back.
And Tommy, you mentioned 2 big 3rd down conversions by Beasley. Kansas State now 5 of 7 on 3rd down. Tennessee 1 of 5. Huge difference. Moving the chains on 3rd down. One's doing it, the other's not.
Well, they got the break on a tip ball by Stevenson, but Morgan was there to haul it in on the first and lock it a moment ago. Now 2nd and 8, the option to pitch to Scobey with room out in front, and he has the first down to the Tennessee 30. We mentioned Kansas State, the highest scoring team in the nation this season.
Well, you don't think high scoring, you're not thinking about a fullback. But, Lap, you talked about Rock Cartwright. Watch him right here, 25. Look at this key block. Watch him right here. Gets one hand on the linebacker, then watch what he does to Andre Lott.
That's awareness to go to the next level.
Yep, just bangs him, gets him out of the way enough for a first down.
If I'm Bill Snyder, I go back to the Ponderosa and I recruit more Cartwrights. You know, you got Rock. I'd go get Little Joe. I'd go get Haas. Right. And then you get a Bonanza going. You know?
I like that. I like that.
I mean, you got one Cartwright, get them all.
You worked on that all New Year's Eve, didn't you?
No, that's been going on for 4 days. First down carry inside the 30 down to the 23-yard line. You know, Cartwright is an amazing story. He's out of Conroe, Texas. Originally signed out of high school as a high school All-American with Baylor. He failed to qualify academically, spent 2 years at Trinity Valley Junior College, was not even in the media guide when this season started. He was able to qualify academically, came on board, the 4th man on the depth chart, and here he is starting in the Cotton Bowl.
Their starting fullback, Lazarchich, had concussion problems. They just found him on videotape, junior college videotape. A great story.
Beasley escapes trouble. And then is wrapped up at the 26.
Nice open field tackle by Westmoreland.
And you know, one quick statement on Rock Cartwright. To learn this Kansas State offense, they run as many formations, as many plays as anybody in college football. He's got great football IQ.
I like him as a runner too.
Oh yeah.
You know, he gives you. He's like an instant shot in the arm for the offense. Anytime things are sluggish during the season,
right?
Ron Hudson, the offensive coordinator, just hands the ball off. Has Beasley handed off to Rock Cartwright, and it's like instant offense.
He's the attitude guy. He's a shot put with legs. You know, 5'8", 242 pounds. And he's got that low center of gravity, and he has no embarrassment about thumping you.
How about Beasley today? Over 200 yards total, and we haven't hit the halftime.
Screen, and it's intercepted off the batted ball. And racing down the sideline, Jabari Greer. No one's going to catch this guy. No penalty flags. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Well, Lap, you said you like to see the same play run again, but they went to the well one too many times on this one because Tennessee picks up this wide receiver screen.
Tipped again.
Tipped again.
At the line of scrimmage. One tip went in their favor. This one went against them. Looked like Smith got his hand on it and tipped it. And once that ball was tipped, it's anybody's football, and Tennessee makes out on that one.
The big play the defense needed to get Tennessee back into this game.
John Chavis told us Jabari Greer has a chance to be one of the all-time greats at Tennessee. A true freshman for the touchdown.
Big play.
Boy, they love the future, as we mentioned, of Jabari Greer, another true freshman getting big-time playing time for the Volunteers this season. Very short kick, and it's at the 17-yard line. David Allen is still on his feet, crossing the 40, out to the 45, and out near midfield.
Well, that's close. That was about 5 yards out of bounds. They came close. One official double clutched his pocket, but no flag thrown. David Allen, one of the best punt return guys in the history of the National Football League. 7 punt return touchdowns in his career, tied for the all-time best. He's got some wiggle now.
Yeah, he shares that honor with Jack Mitchell, former Oklahoma Sooner, and the great Johnny Rodgers.
How about Johnny Rodgers, the Heisman Trophy winner out of Nebraska?
It's just such a tough break for a guy who's a senior like Allen. I mean, the 7 punt returns for touchdowns. You get injured early in the year, and then you lose that job, and the guy who replaces you leads the nation in punt return out.
That tells me Kansas State's got a great scheme.
Nowhere to run there. A loss of 2 on the play. We'll bring up 2nd down and long as Stevenson wrapped up Beasley. Our Southwestern Bell game summary. Kansas State closing in on 300 yards of offense. Dave Lapham mentioned earlier, 3rd down conversions, a big reason why they have the lead.
And look at Quincy Morgan, 4 catches for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's phenomenal. The great equalizer, though, turnovers. Tennessee not only got a takeaway, they got a takeaway touchdown. That evens things up quickly.
Quarterback draw, and nowhere to go for Beasley. Stopped immediately by Bernard Jackson, who is taking the place of the suspended D'Angelo Lloyd.
Hey, Jackson readjusts beautifully on this. Watch him right here. He reads this thing and flattens down the line of scrimmage. See him? He gets right around the trap block, flattens down to make this play.
Yeah, he blew Milford Stevenson up. And remember, in the shotgun, when you got Beasley back there, it's 2 backs in the backfield. He's a running back with a howitzer hanging off his shoulder.
I don't think Stevenson thought Jackson was going to continue upfield. Usually a D lineman doesn't have the speed to race around you and make that play.
Yep.
3rd and 14, batted ball again by the Tennessee defense. So the Volunteers stand tall on 3rd down. It looked like Stevenson got the paw to bat it down.
This is a lot more like the defense Tennessee fans are used to. With the 3-and-out, watch Will Overstreet put the pressure on Beasley around the corner here. Makes him rush this throw.
Another tip by Stevenson. He's got his hands on a couple of them. And, you know, Tennessee only had 9 interceptions during the regular season, but they had 64 knockdowns, a school record. So they've been batting a lot of balls all season.
They come after the punter Brown, but he gets it away. Fair catch signaled for the 22-yard line by Parker. 35-yard punt, and the Volunteers with 2:24 to play until halftime will get the football with a chance to go to the locker room in a tie ball game.
And how ironic is it that Tennessee gets back in the game with an interception? They only had 9 all season. Their leading interceptor with 2, but they did knock down 64, so they were in position to make more than 9 interceptions. Just didn't hold on to the football well enough, but they did this afternoon.
Well, this right now should be Casey Clausen's game. I mean, he's a drop back quarterback. He's got height, 6'4". He's got accuracy. He struggled so far today, only 5 of 13, but we have seen moments of great accuracy.
Play fake, rolls right. He's going to hang on to the football and is tackled out at the 25-yard line. First time we've called the name of the senior Monty Beisel today.
A naked bootleg. Monty Beisel initially fooled, but Monty Beisel can run a little bit. He didn't run as good as Tim Green did, but he can run a little bit.
Well, that's great recovery by Beisel. And you know what, though? I think that was a mistake by Casey Clausen. I think he needed to set up and throw that pass because he doesn't have the speed to outrun Beisel.
No question.
Beisel's been bothered with an abductor injury the entire year and has had to battle his way through it, and boy, has he done that. Recording 10.5 sacks on the season. Timeout by Kansas.
Syracuse University. I went like you, Tim. I went to the Newhouse school and they said you got to ditch that accent.
Explains it all.
There you go.
That's our biggest problem here today. Clausen in trouble, escapes momentarily, and then is wrapped up by Johnson after a gain of maybe a yard, perhaps less than that.
I think the initial disruptor was Mario Fatafehi.
Yeah, but you know what? There's great coverage downfield here. Look at Clausen's got plenty of time. Watch him set up here. It's only a 4-man rush.
Bull rush by Mario.
That was quite a bull rush, too.
Champion went down.
Champion looked like the red cape.
Yes, he did. There's the bull rush we're talking about.
Yeah.
Look at the coverage.
Watch, look at this. If we stop this, look at that. That is an incredible coverage all across the field. Tennessee is not going to win this football game relying on Casey Clausen to scramble for touchdowns.
Well, that's tighter coverage than my New Year's Day suit is on me here, boys. That was pretty tight down there in that football field.
Yeah, as is that suit. So
Come on now.
On the field.
Come on now.
1:40 to play until halftime. The Volunteers getting the big interception return for a touchdown by Jabari Greer to draw within 7. And now to bring up 3rd and 7. You get the numbers on Casey Clausen.
And look at that, over 20 yards per completion. So, you know, what's going on today in these passing games, it's big plays. They're getting big plays out of the passing attack, and I like that. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the West Coast dink and dunk. I think there's times of the game and situations and places for it, but I don't like it as a steady diet. It's like a long lateral in the running game. I like the philosophy of Kansas State that I saw a couple of times during the season. Spread you out with the option to stretch you, then power game inside to bring you up close to the line of scrimmage and throw it over your head.
Three receivers set for the Volunteers on 3rd down, and intercepted at midfield. And making the play is DeMarcus Fagans, the junior out of Irving, Texas. How about the homecoming for Fagans?
How about the 2 Hawaiian members of this K-State defensive line with instant pressure on quarterback Casey Clausen?
Tag team.
Watch Fatafehi and Tangiai. Here they are, the 2 of them. And look how quickly they're on top of Clausen. And Beisel's there as well.
Yeah,
beautiful pressure.
Nice little stunt. That front 4, everybody.
Yeah, well, when you see this pocket collapse in front of you like this, you rush the throw.
He threw that in self-defense, it looked like, you know?
So now Beasley with a minute and a half to go. A pump fake crosses midfield, stops the clock by stepping out of bounds at the Tennessee 47-yard line.
You know, they've had some good quarterbacks at Kansas State, but everybody in the coaching staff will tell you to a man that Jonathan Beasley is the most intelligent quarterback they've had in terms of understanding their offense. He can get on a blackboard and install it to his teammates.
Well, and this is a complicated offense that Ron Hudson's put together as well. This is very much like an NFL offense. They run a lot of shotgun, they run a lot of 3 wides, but then they also have the college offense as well where they mix in the option.
Yep, and the power game.
Beasley rolls right, looking down the field to Morgan and throws into double coverage. It'll bring up 3rd down.
I think Stephen Marsh learned on that touchdown pass down the center that if you see number 5, you want to stay as deep as he is, and that's what Marsh did on that play.
You know, we're talking about the complexity of Kansas State's offense. John Chavis talked about it. You know, he said, hey, these guys, they run every play and every formation known to man in college football. It's a little Nebraska, a little Florida State, a little of everything. There's Big John right there saying to prep for them. He's glad he had the extra time to prep because Kansas State's a load to get ready for it.
Big play for both sides, 3rd and 7. And Beasley flushed out of the pocket. Wide open is Cartwright. And he rocks his way down to the 35-yard line and then some.
Rocks his way. That's strong, baby. Tom Brenneman in mid-season form on the first day of 2001.
Unfortunately for me, at the end of the year.
Oh, man.
Well, this guy's a load to bring down when he has that kind of room.
You look at him as a fullback. If you don't account for him, the problem is in open field, he can make things happen.
Tennessee did not look prepared defensively. A quick snap by K-State. And the connection made to Morgan down to the 20-yard line. The clock continues to run. We're under a minute.
He fumbled it out of bounds, so the ball goes to the point where it came out of his hands. It's going to be marked at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10.
Tennessee wasn't ready defensively.
No, they weren't. Morgan's hurt. Morgan's still down. That would be a huge blow. Morgan's on his backside as he got rocked out of bounds and fumbled the football. He's pointing to his left ankle. Must have turned that left ankle over a little bit.
Sessions laid the hit on him. Let's see if we can tell from the replay.
Turns it up the football field. Sessions trailing from behind. When you, a lot of times, Tim, when you grab him from behind, that's when you roll those ankles over.
Yeah, you're right. It's right there.
Yep, he rolled it. He dragged it on his toes and just hyperextended and rolled that ankle a little bit. Boy, if they lose Quincy Morgan, that's why he fumbled. I think he fumbled because he was in pain. He wanted to grab his ankle. He said, forget the football. I'm a hurting unit.
That could change this football game.
You're not kidding.
And he needs help to get to the other side of the field from the medical staff of the Wildcats.
Morgan with 5 catches today, 128 yards, and two touchdowns.
I think they'll retape that thing. I don't think they'll cut the tape off. They don't want it to swell up. I think they'll spat it. They'll almost have to cut his leg off for him not to play today.
But if he keeps playing, even if you could keep playing, Lap, at that position, you take away your speed and you take away everything.
Right, how effective.
He's walking a little better now. Still needing some help, but putting a little more weight on it, although certainly not enough to stay in the game.
There's no doubt that he's going to try to come back, but how well he'll be able to do that is the question. Bill Snyder obviously concerned.
Brandon Clark replaces Quincy Morgan. 1st down and 10 at the Volunteer 20 for the Wildcats. Three-step drop throw to the far side. Lockett the catch, and he lost the football. The Volunteers, have they recovered it? Yes, they have. The hit made by Teddy Gaines, a junior corner. And Lockett turns it over.
Once again, Lockett finds a soft spot in the zone, but watch Gaines. He gets right up underneath it, makes a beautiful hit to jar that ball loose.
And that's been a problem. Ball security and catching the football consistently has been a problem for Lockett. And quite honestly, if you're Quincy Morgan, some scouts think Quincy Morgan's got first-round talents in every phase except catching the football consistently. Today, he's caught it very consistently, but that turnover is painful for Kansas State.
Boy, is it ever. They were deep in Tennessee territory, and now the Volunteers will ask Clausen to take a knee and run out the clock here in the opening half. A half that early on clearly dominated by Kansas State. And the one big play in this game, the interception return for a touchdown by Jabari Greer to get the Volunteers within a touchdown.
But, Tommy, this game is still well within Tennessee's grasp. Not only are they only down by 1 touchdown, but K-State's by far most effective weapon today, Quincy Morgan, hobbled with that ankle injury. He may not return in the second half.
And the 2 giveaways, the 2 turnovers, 1 a touchdown. Kansas State gave it up twice. Tennessee scores a touchdown on 1. And then they're in scoring range. They're in the scoring zone and turn it over again. Huge turnovers.
A season ago. Kansas State to get the football. A one-hopper out at the 15-yard line, and David Allen is tackled at the 25. And some of the numbers from the first half overwhelmingly in favor of Kansas State.
Yeah, Kansas State, look at that. Over 300 yards total offense, 143. But the turnovers, the 2 turnovers the Wildcats had, 7 points on one of them for Tennessee and negating potential points for Kansas State on the other. If they don't turn the football over, we've got a lopsided score here.
Look at that time of possession, too. I think Tennessee in the second half, when they get the ball back, they need to not only throw it, but they need to get the ground game going.
And you saw Kansas State rushing for 118 yards against Tennessee's vaunted defense. It was only giving up 74 a game.
And Quincy Morgan is not in the starting lineup as we begin the second half, but Josh Scobey carries the football out to the 34, a gain of 8 for the Kansas State tailback.
Yeah, you mentioned Jonathan Beasley, 2 touchdowns passing, 1 touchdown rushing. That's a pretty darn good day.
And as I said earlier, Casey Clausen has definitely struggled. By far, his most suspicious performance to date for the Tennessee Volunteers.
Beasley, 34 touchdowns on the season, accounting for 3 more already in the first half of this game.
And Beasley on the carry, could go the distance with 1 man to beat. And he's knocked out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. Jonathan Beasley ran for 5 touchdowns against North Texas State in 1 game this season. The only Big 12 quarterback to accomplish that, and only the 2nd Big 12 player to rush for at least 5.
We talk about Beasley as a weapon, but look at the block by Rock Cartwright, the fullback leading Beasley down the sideline and springing him for this big run.
You know, there's decisions you make down the football field, throwing it, decisions you make in the option, whether to keep it or pitch it, great decision.
42-yard gain and back to the ground. Scobey spins away from a tackler and carries to the 16.
Well, it's obvious to me, guys, that Bill Snyder said to his football team, look, we may be without Quincy Morgan. Offensive line, suck it up, get after it. We're going to run the football at Tennessee. It falls on your hats, on your shoulders. Running backs, O-line, get it done.
Hey, I got to tell you, this Rock Cartwright is amazing. He had another solid lead block on that to spring Scobey.
He's the rock, man. I'll tell you, it all starts with the rock. Build the foundation with a good rock.
Ponderosa.
They stay on the ground. Scobey eludes 1 tackler inside the 15. Another first down to the Tennessee 13-yard line.
Now, right now, we're not seeing good tackling by this Tennessee defense. We're seeing guys on the edge who are coming up and with an opportunity to bring the Kansas State ball carriers down, but they're not making the tackles.
And that's an interesting point, Tim, because Kansas State's offensive coaching staff thought that Tennessee's defensive backs were the best tacklers they'd seen, and they were worried about Kansas State safeties being able to tackle Travis Henry.
The pitch to Scobey. He could go to the end zone and will. Touchdown, Kansas State. An absolutely dominant opening drive here to start the second half, all on the ground for the Wildcats.
Talk about a punch in the mouth, too. This drive really wasn't very complicated at all.
No, it wasn't.
They ran the option, and they just drove it right down the field for the score.
The option and the ISO, they ran the lead, and Rock was the key. Key block after key block. On the touchdown run, he didn't get a great block, but he made Stevenson hurdle him, and Scobey had the lane then.
Point after by Ream is good. Kansas State running roughshod over this Tennessee defense. Scobey is rushed for better than 100 yards, and we're just underway in the 3rd quarter. Josh Scobey has already rushed for better than 100 yards on just 15 carries. A 10-yard touchdown a moment ago. Look at that, averaging nearly 7 yards per carry.
And quarterback Jonathan Beasley's not far behind with 87 yards on the ground.
I'm really surprised that Kansas State has effectively run the option to the extent they have. I thought Tennessee would, with their speed, would snuff it, but Kansas State's gashing them with the option.
Well, we mentioned Kansas State scored more points than any team in the NCAA this season. And here they are with 28 on the board, and we're a minute and a half into the 3rd quarter. Leonard Scott from the 3.
Whoa.
Out across the 30, the 35, and Ream for the 2nd time is able to run him out of bounds. Speaking of out of bounds, one of the great Cotton Bowl memories back in 1954, Rice in Alabama. Dick Magel set an all-time record with 265 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, and who can ever forget? If you haven't seen this, check this out. 95-yard run. Tommy Lewis comes off the bench and tackles Magel. They ruled it a touchdown, and Rice won that game 28-6.
Look at him trying to hide.
Pretty good effort, though, you know, off the bench.
No helmet. That's a defensive player for you, Tim. What's up with that?
That's the only way a guy like you got in the game.
You would have put your helmet on.
That's right. That's right.
Travis Henry has had a quiet day. Turns the corner, and he's about to change all that. Run out of bounds down at the 27-yard line by John McGraw.
Remember I said, Tommy, that Tennessee needs to come out. They need to balance their attack, and this is the way to do it. Give Travis Henry the ball. Watch him take this corner, and watch the stiff arm right here on Cooper. Knocks him right off his feet.
That's the 2nd stiff arm he's gotten Cooper with today. He got him with a right arm, and he got him with a left, so He can go both ways. He can give you the right or the left jab.
Good thing John McGraw, the free safety's got great speed, or else Henry was gone.
Cooper has been taken out of the game in favor of Milton Proctor. And here comes a reverse. And they give us to Dante Stolwer.
Oh, that's good.
And that may be a face mask on Beasley.
That's good defense by Beasley, though. I don't know if he got that mask, but that was outstanding reaction. And you get to see why Beasley is being talked about as an NFL player.
I guess they got holding on Tennessee, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think it might be holding on. Yeah, it is holding on Tennessee because it looked like Beasley grabbed his shoulder pad. They got holding on the edge, setting the Tennessee Volunteers back.
Beasley's hand got just a piece of that face mask. That could have been a call.
Boy,
watch Beasley. He's right here at the bottom of the screen, and watch him redirect. And he beats a wide receiver, Stallworth, to the side of the field.
Looked like he just got a handful of jersey.
Holding. Offense. 10 yards. End of the run. Replay. First down.
It's a spot foul. It's from the end of the run, so it won't be 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. So it'll be about second and 18 or 19.
Boy, Phil Fulmer lit up his defense, didn't he, during that commercial break? Those guys came off the field, and he chewed them up one side and down the other.
Got to keep the ball in Travis Henry's hands. He's got 71 yards on 9 carries now.
Well, this is a passing situation here, though, Dave.
4 receivers set. Clausen out of the shotgun. A quick throw to Bartholomew, and that ball hit the ground before it got to the fullback, who was split wide to the right.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of inaccuracy from Clausen today, and it's inaccuracy like he's never had before. I mean, he's only completing 33% of his passes, and you know, you have to attribute it to this cold day, to the slickness of the ball from the melted snow down there.
No doubt, and really even the size of the hand. I mean, I don't think Clausen's having real trouble gripping the football, but the bigger hand on the quarterback, the easier to throw in this weather.
Clausen has missed on his last 6 attempts. Oh, throws the interception. McGraw picks it off across midfield and all the way down to the 28-yard line. The Manhattan, Kansas native, John McGraw. He had a 71-yard return for a touchdown against Colorado earlier this season and nearly brought this one back.
Well, McGraw reads this thing perfectly. Watch Clausen. He looks through the receiver down the whole way, and McGraw uses his speed to get across the field and leap up and make a great catch.
You know, people are probably wondering, how can he throw that ball? Well, he never did see McGraw. Never saw McGraw. Former a little bit disgusted, to say the least.
You know, watch Casey Clausen, though. I mean, he zeroes right in with his eyes, and McGraw sees it, reads it the whole way.
If McGraw didn't get it, at the next level, Newton was going to get it.
Scobey, another Kansas State first down. The Wildcats have not thrown the ball on 2 series now here in the second half.
They don't have to. They're picking up a first down, it seems like, every time they run the football. I mean, 1st and 10 to pick up more than 10 yards. Bill Snyder loves this, boy, smashing them right in the mouth. Running the football amazingly. 205 yards rushing against a team that had only given up 74 yards a game coming in.
205 yards rushing and more for the Wildcats. Scobey inside the 15, chopped down at the 13-yard line. Since 1990, Kansas State is 45-0. 45-0. You know, when rushing for at least 200 yards, they're over that already.
Yep.
You know, the interesting thing about Josh Scobey is the reason why he was able to stay in his replacement of Chris Allen, who you said got hurt earlier in the season, isn't because of his running, but because of his blocking and pass protection.
Scobey again, and he's wrapped up close to the 10-yard line by Hainsworth.
Quincy Morgan returning. He's got, obviously, that ankle's not 100%. He got it twisted. Sessions tackling from behind right at the end of the half, but not to belabor a point, but the 3 guys that are doing the most damage, besides Beasley, of course, offensively, Morgan, The Rock, and Scobey, junior college transfers. I mean, the JC program has been good to Kansas State.
Well, Smokey trying to get his defense to catch fire on this 3rd down and 4. And a quarterback draw. Beasley picking his spot, but he'll be denied the 1st down. Of course, that may depend on the spot of the ball. He appears to be about a half a yard short.
I think he may have it, Tommy. That's pretty close.
If he doesn't, I'd go. I'd go right for the throat right now. If it's 4th and short, I say, hey, my offensive line's beating him up. I'm running the heck out of the football. I go. I try to score here, a touchdown in this red zone, not settle for a field goal opportunity if they are short.
And, Tim, I think you're right. I think they did get the 1st down. They're going to bring out the chains for a measurement.
Phil Fulmer not used to seeing his defensive line get knocked around, and the front 7 get knocked around like they are by Kansas State today.
1st down.
Now, you really can't put a number value on a guy like Beasley who can sit back there in a shotgun formation and give you a running game.
Yeah, he's the second back. If there's a back in his hip, it's a 2-back backfield. They run the quarterback counter, the quarterback draw, the quarterback sweep. They have a full package running attack with him in the gun.
Beasley is thrown for a pair of touchdowns. He's rushed for 91 yards. The pitch to Scobey. Cuts it inside. Touchdown, Kansas State.
Rock was awesome. Took 2, didn't he? Bowling. He was like a bowling ball knocking pins down. Make that spare, Rock. Man.
2 touchdowns on 2 scoring drives, and not a single ball has been put in the air by Beasley.
Well, I'll tell you, Paul is very proud of Rock Cartwright right now, because this guy is, watch what right here. Check him out. Boom. Takes 2 down. 2 down. It's make that spare, Rock. He got the 7-10. He got them both.
He went from a shot put with hands, arms, and legs to a bowling ball with arms and legs, huh?
He's doing it all.
Point after is good. And how about this performance by the Kansas State Wildcats? Coming off the Big 12 championship loss to Oklahoma and hammering Tennessee. I count already today.
They started out with 42-inch chest. By the end of the game, they'll have 45-inch chests. The pecs will be puffed from those push-ups, boy.
35-14. And Scott from his own 7. Good coverage this time by Kansas State. He's tackled at the 15. Let's go downstairs to Brian Baldinger.
Thanks, Tom. I'm joined here by the president and CEO of Southwestern Bell, the title sponsor for the Cotton Bowl, and certainly here with Cliff Easton. Cliff, an outstanding week here. We've got a great game, a lot of activities all week long.
It's been terrific, Brian, and thanks, too, to all your colleagues at Fox Sports for the great job you're doing. The excitement, the tradition of this week really comes through.
And why is Southwestern Bell so committed here to being the title sponsor for this great game?
Well, Southwestern Bell and SBC have been serving Kansas, Texas, and the nation's heartlands for 120 years. The Cotton Bowl is just a great part of that tradition. Likewise, they're committed to education as we are, with 3/4 of every dollar of this game going back into education. We think that's pretty important.
And Cliff, you started out just representing phone service to Texas and Arkansas, but certainly now with the growth, you're much more than just a regional phone company.
Well, SBC is truly a nationwide, coast-to-coast company now. We operate under brands like Southwestern Bell, Pacific Bell, Ameritech, SBC Telecom. In fact, we're opening up new markets all over the country, a number of which are in the Southeast. So we think the Cotton Bowl with its Big 12 and SEC pairing is just perfect for us.
Cliff, thanks for joining us today. Continue a great tradition here and great relationship with the Cotton Bowl.
Great, Brian. Thanks very much.
Tom, back upstairs.
Brian, thank you. The Wildcats have been ringing long distance throughout the entire ball game. Already 35 points and 9.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Henry turns the corner and he picks up a Tennessee 1st down. Still plenty of time in this ball game. We've talked about it. Clausen, yes, he has struggled at this point so far, but we saw him really come back around late in the game against Vanderbilt and played his best ball in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, that's true. He made some big passes, and on the 1 touchdown drive this offense did have, remember Clausen? He was 3 for 3. He took that team 76 yards to score a touchdown. So he has the capability to do it, but he's not put it together but for that 1 time today.
And down 21, how much can you go to Henry? He's got 11 carries for 85 yards. He's going to play catch-up now.
Well, they're going to give it to Henry again, and he is wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. It looked like Fauda Fahey, the man to wrap him up at the bottom of the pile.
Because now the clock becomes your enemy, not your ally. It's the ally to Kansas State, the enemy Tennessee. I mean, there's still 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, but down 3 scores. And the way Kansas State's playing offense, tough duty.
Tennessee, of course, started the year at 2-3, finished strong, winning their final 6 games. The streak included 3 on the road by 3 points or less. But they did most of the winning with great defense, something they've not had here today. Clausen, a short drop, hit Cedric Wilson shy of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd and 5 for the Volunteers.
And what Dyshad Carter is able to do right now, they can really hold back. He can play for the deep ball. That's all Kansas State has to worry about. Don't give up the big play. So see him bail here. He can let Wilson catch this. He can let Tennessee catch these underneath things as long as he comes up and makes the tackle.
Right, no yards after catch.
You know, Carter is like a coach on the field. He's been a starter for 3 years, and it was interesting to listen to Bill Snyder. He said of all the guys on his defense, of all the great seniors he's got, this guy is the guy who will be the hardest to replace.
Tennessee jumps going to cost them 5 guys.
You jump too if you had to block Fadafehi all day.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Fadafehi is El Lodo.
Right to the snap. False start. Offense. 5 yards.
Thing about
3rd down.
Thing about Fadafehi, 6'2", 305 pounds. So he's got a low center of gravity, and he's real athletic with that 305 pounds. He changes direction very well. He's got tremendous hand placement when he comes off the line of scrimmage. I mean, his technique is sound. He's athletic.
I wonder if Fadafehi in the Hawaiian language means big man running you over.
It might.
It should.
Tennessee 1 of 6 on 3rd down conversions today. The penalty makes it 3rd and 10. And Clausen airing it out down the field, but overthrown. Contact was made as he had an eye on Eric Parker, but I guess they figured that was an uncatchable ball. So Tennessee having to punt it away.
Again, nice coverage by the Kansas State defensive backs. Terrence Newman is the guy who's running with Parker, and it's his proximity that causes Clausen to overthrow this football.
I agree, and really both players had their heads turned for the ball, their feet tangled up. That's why there was no call. Plus, in college football, non-catchable doesn't apply.
Angled kick, David Allen with a chance to return it, and he crosses into Tennessee territory to the 49-yard line. So again, great field position for the Wildcats, and they're looking to add to this 35-14 lead. Aerial views of today's Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic are being brought to you by Del Copter Can. A cold New Year's Day in Dallas, Texas. But it's been a red-hot Kansas State Wildcats offensive machine so far here today.
Still haven't thrown the second half, have they?
No, they haven't had to. I think Tennessee's going to have to stack this line of scrimmage up, play man-to-man coverage on the outside.
Audible.
They've got man coverage on Aaron Lockett at the top, although they're going to stay on the ground, and Beasley keeps it. Fake the pitch to Josh Scobey, and he's down to the 46, a gain of 3.
He changed the strength of his formation. He shifted his tight end Meyer, audibleized to the short side of the football field, away from the tight end, run the option into the short side. I mean, he's a smart cookie now. You're not going to pull the wool over Beasley's eyes.
Yeah, but John Chavis, the Tennessee defensive coordinator, has done exactly that. He stacked the line of scrimmage, and you can't run the option against 8, 9 men up there in the box.
Play fake. Beasley airs it out down the middle, and a poorly thrown ball. He had an eye on Quincy Morgan, who's come back into the game.
You know, a lot of guys, coaches that I talked to, Tim, in the college game in this era with people stacking the line with 8, 9 people, if you have a back that can make one guy miss, they look at it as an opportunity, because it's almost like a short yardage play. When you bust it, there's nobody, everybody's so close, there's nobody to really rally and pursue. So they say, you know what, you can get hammered, then all of a sudden stay after and be patient. Boom, you bust one about 75 rated. They look at it as a big play potential.
First pass of the second half by Beasley and the Wildcats. 3rd down and 8. They were looking for the screen, and now Beasley just has to throw it away under heavy pressure by Will Overstreet.
One of the ways Tennessee can put pressure on the quarterback with just 4 men is they put the stunt. You see Overstreet comes inside, and then Kendrick loops around to the outside, and that's what springs Overstreet free.
There was a flag on the play. They call intentional grounding there. Well, I thought it might have been a grounding.
Either that or this could be a personal foul of some kind. That Kansas State bench came racing out onto the field. A very late flag well after the play had been thrown as an incomplete pass.
There's no flag on the play. There was an eligible receiver in the area.
It was.
The quarterback was out the box.
It was potential grounding, but he threw it close enough to the feet of the eligible receiver. It did not get back to the line of scrimmage. Just like you go from the tight ends all the way back to infinity, basically. And now Beasley gets out of pocket away from the tight end and throws it at the feet of Scobey. So the officials deciding, okay, Scobey was in the area, even though it didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. In the NFL, you have to get it back to the line of scrimmage as well as be out of pocket.
Well, let's see if Tennessee comes after this punt. It was an area they felt they could take advantage of with all the problems Kansas State has had in the punting game this season, and the Volunteers need a big play. Well, they set up for the return. Fair catch signaled for by Parker, so Tennessee will get the football at the 12, trailing Kansas State.
Fill this up. I'm not having any druggies in my house.
An all-new episode at 8:30, 7:30 Central, Fox Sunday.
35-14 K-State. A lot of time left to go. 6:14 in the third quarter. Our Aflac trivia question: which quarterback engineered the largest fourth-quarter comeback in Cotton Bowl history? You knew that one last night.
Yes, I did.
Go ahead, Lap.
Joe. Hang on.
Oh, my bad.
The folks at time, at home, a little bit of time.
My bad.
Take a stab at it.
There's a lot of Joes out there.
Well,
but there's only one real Joe.
It wasn't Dante or something like that.
He's no average Joe. This Joe is the real Joe.
Clausen will turn around and hand it to Henry. And he's tripped up by Fauda Fahey after a gain of maybe 2.
You know, Travis Henry is slowly accumulating a big game. It's lost in the amazing ground performance by K-State, but he's got the ball 13 times, 87 yards on the ground.
Pretty hefty yards per carry there. Look at that, 417 yards offense. And balanced. 222 on the ground, 195 in the air. That's balance, folks.
Well, bear in mind, of the 3 losses by Kansas State this year, 2 were against the #1 team in the land, Oklahoma. Pump fake.
Well thrown.
3rd down and 9.
And you know, we looked at that number of Tennessee allowing 416 yards already in the third quarter. The last 2 Cotton Bowls in 1990, Tennessee allowed Texas 513 yards of offense. Back in '69, they allowed Arkansas 560 yards of offense.
You could see in Casey Clausen's face, his confidence is shaken right now. He's only completed 1 of his last 9 passes, and he needs to get that back.
You see deer in the headlights a little bit there?
He needs to start again. He needs to just kind of settle down and start with a couple completions underneath and get back into a rhythm.
Jason Rustford has taken over at center. And a long ball down the middle of the field. Incomplete. David Martin covered beautifully by Derek Yates, a junior out of Houston, Texas.
But Yates just got body position on David Martin, and he stayed there.
And 3rd and long, Kansas State just rushed 4, and they dropped 7 into coverage. Nowhere for Clausen to go. There were no real holes to take advantage of in coverage. Seven in the umbrella.
And I think a lot of the reason why Clausen has struggled, a lot of it, I think, is the cold. And I don't think he's got confidence playing in this kind of weather because his whole past history has been in California, and Tennessee's mostly warm games during the season.
No reference point.
But I think Phil Bennett, the coordinator from Kansas State, also did a great job shaking his confidence early by mixing up coverages.
Short kick, angly toward the sidelines. We'll see where they think it went out of bounds. And they're saying the 33-yard line.
Talk about a short field. Wow.
20-yard punt. Kansas State leading 35-14. What quarterback engineered the longest fourth quarter drive in Cotton Bowl history? We'll give you the answer here in just one moment. Well, I remember that game like it was just yesterday.
Yep.
Young kid watching that one from right here in Dallas, Texas. Tennessee, their fans hoping a fourth quarter rally can be engineered by Clausen as they trail 35-14. Beasley to throw up top towards the corner of the end zone. Did he make the catch in bounds? No.
Quincy Morgan's back, though. He looked pretty good on that one.
But Teddy Gaines did a nice job of staying step for step with him. And you really have to wonder if a healthy, completely healthy Quincy Morgan doesn't just run by Teddy Gaines.
Teddy Gaines did a good job of using the sideline as the 12th man and then leaned into him.
Yeah, but if you watch him here, watch Gaines. He spins his hips and runs, and he's not only step for step, he's actually out in front of Morgan.
Good adjustment to the ball by Morgan.
Morgan, an electrifying first half if you weren't with us. 128 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. He makes a catch here and a nice tackle in the open field by Teddy Gaines. It'll bring up third down.
Quincy Morgan. Pulled down by number 33, Jabari Greer.
All right, you've been patiently waiting. The quarterback who led Notre Dame from a 22-point deficit to beat Houston back in 1979, none other than Joe Montana.
It was a nasty day weather-wise that day. Joe Montana, the legend to Joe Montana, begun big time.
6 degrees. At kickoff, wind chill well under 6 degrees. They're going to give it to Scobey. And he runs right in to the defensive front led by the linebacker Eric Westmoreland.
He's a linebacker that's highly regarded, Tim. You know, people say that he'll be in the top 3 or 4 rounds of the draft. Do you agree?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got the quickness to do it. You're going to watch him penetrate here, and he comes off the block of Rock Cartwright, which is more impressive than anything
right.
to make this tackle, because that's the first block we've seen Cartwright miss.
Yep. Buckled him, too. Took Rock to his knees.
Jamie Ream on to attempt a 47-yard field goal. Runner-up in the Lou Groza Award to Jonathan Ruffin of Cincinnati, and this one wide left. So the first field goal tried today by Ream. It's only the 4th he's missed all season.
Yeah, he was 17 for 20 in the regular season. He was Mr. Automatic. You know, they've had a run of nice kickers. Martin Gramatica with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicked his predecessor here at Kansas State. I saw him kick a 65-yard field goal in a game out there in Manhattan. I could not believe it.
We're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, you saw them yesterday on Fox lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now that team is 0-20 in games where the temperature at kickoff is 40 degrees or less. So when you talk about the problems Casey Clausen has in the cold weather, it's a real thing in the game of football. If you're not used to it, it certainly hampers your effort.
Inside handoff to Henry. He breaks 2 tackles. Now tries to turn the corner and caught from behind by Ben Lieber out to the 38-yard line. Time to take a look at our Southwestern Bell game summary. The yards piling up for the Kansas State Wildcats. They average 410 yards of total offense a game.
Look at that third down story, though. 1 for 8 for Tennessee. 7 for 13, better than 50% for Kansas State.
And that's their passing game. Clausen now 6 of 20 attempts.
Henry, a first down carry out to the 43. You know, we were talking about Jonathan Beasley earlier on, and Tim, I know that, you know, Dave, we all got together with Kansas State, and the story about Beasley, the horrific game that he had, although no one knew he had the injured shoulder against Nebraska 2 years ago, and how he used that as a motivation coming into this year, led a win over the Cornhuskers. And you can only wonder if maybe this kind of game won't turn out to be that kind of game for Casey Clausen.
That's a good point. It really is. I mean, how will he respond to this adversity?
Gigantic grab by Cedric Wilson. He had a hand on it, at least one hand on it, 3, 4, 5 different times, and now he comes up limping.
And this is why when you're an experienced cornerback like Dyshad Carter, you always stay with the play. Wilson's got him beat, but watch Carter. He stays with it, and it's that last grab at Wilson's right arm.
Yep.
Watch it here. As he's falling to the ground, watch Carter. He grabs the arm, and that's what doesn't enable Wilson to make that catch. That's finishing the play.
And they coach it. It's a violent rake. Get in there and rake at it. Rake the arm out of there, and the ball pops free.
We remember a play like that in the NFL earlier this season. Chris Dishman not staying with the wide receiver. Went for a Green Bay Packer touchdown in a win over the Vikings.
Tell you what, that was a hit in there by Terry Pierce. Talk about young players and guys with a future.
Yep, star.
Terry Pierce is a freshman, and I think on that last play there, you got to see the kind of impact that he brings to the line of scrimmage. 6'3", 250 pounds, and he's one of those guys that really doesn't know yet how good he is.
He doesn't know what he doesn't know yet.
Big 12 defensive.
I'm going to figure that out.
Freshman of the year. I understood it.
You get that? You got me on that one?
3rd down and 9, and they give it to Henry. Eludes one tackler, but can't get away from Bison.
He was over 100 yards before that carry, but that'll knock him back under the century mark. And Phil Fulmer made a comment about him. He said, you know what? When sledding gets tougher, that's when this kid's at his toughest, and this is a good example of it.
Yeah,
this team's getting smacked around, and he's still rushing for 100.
But third and 9, I'm sorry, that's no time to try to run a pitch. That's when your quarterback, despite his struggles, he's got to pitch that ball downfield to get you a first down.
Little confidence lost there in the young quarterback by the staff, you think?
35-14 Kansas State. Tennessee having to punt it away. Leverton off the side of his foot, and that one will roll to the 29-yard line where Kansas State will take over. Well, don't forget, America's fastest sport is now coming to Fox starting February the 18th. Fox Sports is the place to turn for every pit stop, lap, and checkered flag. It all begins with the 43rd running of the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Fox Sports, the new home of NASCAR.
These guys out in L.A. are busy, aren't they?
I tell you,
they're picking up sports like a game of jacks.
The pitch is to Scobey, and he's upended by a line out to the 34-yard line.
We talk about a guy that at the century mark, Scobey averaging 6 yards a rush still, and a lot of it's due to his partner in the backfield, the Rock. Rock Cartwright is like another lineman. Although he's only 5'8", he's 240 pounds, and he does not shy away from contact.
I'd like to see him take one of those little handoffs up the middle.
Look at the marks on his helmet. You see those marks from those hits?
Scobey with a huge hole and another Kansas State first down all the way out to the 45. A late flag comes in. 12-yard pickup for Josh Scobey, who is quietly having a marvelous game. Not so quietly. He's up over 135 yards.
He's done damage here in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Little face mask at the conclusion of the run. That's going to give him another 5 yards. Well, you know, we talk about the Rock. The Rock was big again.
Face mask. Defense. 5 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Watch the Rock. Check him out here. Another mark on the helmet. ISO, lead block, boom. Nice form, keeps his feet moving. But the offensive line did a great job, too. The Red Sea parted right there for Scobey. And there's the grab right there at the conclusion of the play. Face mask penalty, 5 yards, not 15.
Now, you got to really credit this Kansas State offensive line. We have not mentioned John Henderson's name very much at all today. Henderson, the winner of the Outland Trophy, the best college lineman in the game.
End of the 3rd quarter, Kansas State 35, Tennessee 14. Fox coverage of the Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl continues after a word from your local Fox station. Forget that he redshirted in what was to be his junior year in '98. When Michael Bishop arrived, he took a back seat to, you know, let a guy who was only going to have a 2-year career, an enormously talented player in Bishop, get a chance to play. He came back and took over as a starter in 1999, had the dreadful loss we talked about against Nebraska. But this young man, you have to give him so much credit. He's taken a beating at times by the fans, and yet he's 20-4 as a starter and a terrific Cotton Bowl here today.
And the reason that you talk about him sitting out and redshirting his junior year, that's why Coach Snyder loves him. He's a loyal guy, team guy. He said, you know, he was hurt. They bring Bishop in. He steps back. I mean, that was a difficult pill.
A strike to Morgan, and he has a first down to the 37.
You know, you just see this guy's presence in the pocket. He drops back. He hangs on to this football. He's under the blitz. He can run it. He can run it in for a touchdown. You just saw him complete the ball there. I mean, he really does it all. And these are nice passes that he's completing downfield. In that Nebraska game in '99, they lost 41-15. Beasley completed only 3 of 19 passes. And he was just pounded on by the media, by the fans. No one knew about his shoulder. He put the score of that game above his locker, and it was his inspiration throughout last season, the rest of the season, the off season, and this season as well.
Grew up with his mother in a small apartment in Glendale, Arizona. She worked many hours working for a telephone company there in the greater Phoenix area. He had not seen his father since the age of 9 or 10. And everything that is right, we mentioned earlier about sports, is Jonathan Beasley, but also everything that is right about the Big Brother program.
Yep.
Because had it not been for Jason Weller, a sandy brown-haired young man with glasses who took over Jonathan's life, or male role model life in many ways, he would not be where he is here today. It's a terrific story.
He should be the poster child or the poster adult for the Big Brothers Foundation.
Let's go downstairs to Brian Baldinger.
Hey, Tom, just to continue to pick up here on Jonathan Beasley, he was very excited in the meetings the other day because he just got his official invitation to the NFL Combine in February in Indianapolis. When asked what quarterback he would like to emulate, he said, 2 come to mind, Rodney Peete and the Rose Bowl MVP from 1978, a guy named Warren Moon.
Ooh, 2 good ones there, Baldy. I'll tell you what. And you know what? The thing, you think about, there'll be 32 teams in the NFL when Houston comes in 2002. Times 3. That's, you know, he's one of the top 100 quarterbacks in the country. Come on. He belongs. You know, 96 quarterbacks are better than this kid.
Well, the thing he does, Lap, and you see it on that play there, he has that versatility that we're seeing the new generation of great NFL quarterbacks. You saw Donovan McNabb yesterday of the Eagles. We'll get to see him in the playoff game on Fox next week against the New York Giants. And McNabb is like a one-man offense, and that's what Beasley brings too. We see he has the ability to throw downfield. He's got the arm, but then he gives you that added dimension where he can pick up first downs and touchdowns on the ground.
When the play breaks down, he makes plays. Look at today, 316 yards. That's big.
And they'll continue to add to that rushing total. A pair of now 100-yard rushers in the game for Kansas State today, Scobey and Beasley.
They got his shoe.
Blew a tire?
Yeah, no, he got his shoe pulled off.
Yeah, blew that left tire, didn't he? Or right tire. You got to retie the tread. You know, he's a delightful kid too. I mean,
oh yeah.
You talk about huddle presence, pocket presence. I mean, he's just one of those. He's not a real loud leader, quiet leader that demonstrates with his actions. I mean, the players absolutely, and coaches love this kid.
Beasley out of the shotgun on 3rd down. Pump fake, throws to the end zone into coverage, and it's batted down. So the drive stalls here. And the field goal unit will come back out for Bill Snyder.
That was a nice read by Tad Golden, but he's right to be a little disappointed on that one. Tennessee needs, again, if they're going to pull this thing out, they got to have a big play come from their defense.
Ream comes out for another opportunity here. Not an easy one this chance as well.
39-yard attempt. He missed a 47-yarder a few minutes ago.
Block.
And this one blocked. Scramble for the football, and Kansas State covers it up, but Tennessee will take over the 20-yard line.
That's the 5th block kick that Kansas State has suffered this season. 5 block kicks. Bill Snyder's not happy about that.
11:30 to play in Dallas. K-State in front, 35-14. Clausen hoping for a miracle finish here in the fourth quarter. 11:30 to go. And they swing it out to Stallworth. Nope, incomplete. The throw was short. We have not heard from Dante Stallworth. Their offensive coordinator, Randy Sanders, along with Phil Fulmer, firmly believe that Stallworth has a chance to become one of the all-time great wide receivers at Tennessee in the likes of Alvin Harper, Carl Pickens, and Cedric Wilson.
He plays a physical game. I can tell you that. He really runs his routes with an attitude. He's not afraid to mix it up.
No one within 40 yards of that throw by Clausen, who took a beating.
Well, we said right from the beginning of this game that young quarterback Casey Clausen, who's had such an outstanding season, had to overcome the challenge of playing in the cold weather. And you see the snow early on. It's been cold all day, but he has thrown into coverages. And of his last 14 attempts, he has only completed one.
That's a rough streak there. And on that last pass, Beasley and Johnson, the two defensive ends, met at the quarterback. Clausen was the meat of the sandwich on that one.
Showing blitz, and here they come after Clausen. And the play blown dead before it ever got started.
You know, I think there's one thing we have to remember about this. I mean, Casey Clausen is 19 years old.
Offense, 5 yards. Still third down.
Now, he is 19 years old. He's had an amazing season. Led Tennessee to 6 straight victories that really got them into this Cotton Bowl Classic. And, you know, I think that Phil Fulmer realizes the reason why I think he's staying with him in this game is because he is young. And this is something that he's going to have to work through.
Right. Learn by the adversity. You know, I think he's a tough-minded enough guy. This is not going to crumble Casey Clausen.
The other thing is, if he gets on a roll, you know, the way he did at Vanderbilt, all of a sudden he started dropping perfect passes into his wide receivers late in the game to win that one.
Is this another? Can't be a clock expiration again.
I'm not sure if the play clock was ever reset.
Yeah, I think that is the problem. That's impossible. Yeah, they're having clock problems.
We have no flag on the play. The clock was never reset.
See right there in the background, number 77 in that white jersey, Michael Munoz, the son of the great Anthony Munoz. I was privileged enough to play next to Anthony Munoz for 4 years. And Michael, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Michael Munoz is a heck of a football player, but more importantly to Anthony and Dee Dee, his parents, a better kid. And as great a football player as Anthony Munoz was, he's that much better a person. I mean, he's Hall of Fame player, father, husband, community member. I mean, it's Anthony's top shelf.
Well, we have not called Beisel's name much at all here today, and that's who he's been locked up with most of the afternoon. Long ball to Stallworth, and terrific coverage downfield by Dyshot Carter to break it up, and he's hurt. May have had the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's a bad feeling.
You know, and to finish that thought about Michael Munoz, don't forget, they're still pretty excited in Knoxville, Tennessee about the arrival of his sister, Michelle Munoz, next year.
Player of the
reigning Miss Ohio basketball and one of the top 5 high school basketball players in the country.
But that man right there, Michael Munoz, his dad, Anthony, we had a situation in Cincinnati where our best player was also one of the best people you're ever going to want to meet. And if you're a coach or an organization, there's not a better scenario than that.
Lockett, Allen, a chance to return it. And he'll turn it back the other way.
Whoa.
And still on his feet. And finally dragged down back at the 40-yard line. Will Bartholomew, the fullback, on special teams, getting down the field to make that tackle. By many as the best offensive tackle in the history of the National Football League, so not a bad idea to lean on Pop for a little advice.
He's a great teacher and a great father and friend, He's always there for me if I have questions, and give me little nuggets of information about the game here and there. And it's just been a great role model.
Yeah, great role model, so not only for Michael and Michelle, but I mean, so many people of all ages in the community of Cincinnati are unfortunate enough to be able to experience Anthony Munoz.
I think the best thing about Michael Munoz is he seemed to have picked up his father's demeanor and personality, as well as his skills on the football field.
You're right about that.
Quarterback draw, and Beasley tacking on more yardage out to the 47. Well, many of you may have seen Michael Munoz when he introduced his father on his Hall of Fame inductions in Canton, Ohio. If you missed it, here you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you a great football player, a great friend, a great father, and a great husband. He is a man who stands tall among men because he is a man who walks with God. He is a man of God. I introduce to you my father, Anthony Munoz.
Introducing his father, Michael, only 16 years old when he stepped to the podium.
That was his first public speaking scenario, and he does it on national television, inducting his dad to the Hall of Fame, or presenting his dad for induction to the Hall of Fame. And anybody that's a father or a son, and father-son relationship, that doesn't bring tears to your eyes. I don't know, I guess you're not living, because that's what it's all about, father-son relationships right there.
Well, the first down carry by Scobey a moment ago, and there's an injury. Kendrick, we'll let you know. Rock Cartwright carrying Tennessee tacklers across midfield, and another Kansas State first down. The rushing yards just continue to pile up for the Wildcats. A legitimate chance with 9:20 left to go that Kansas State could rush for over 300 yards in this game. Let's go downstairs to Brian Balding.
Yeah, Tom, I just had a chance to take a look at Edward Kendrick as they went up the tunnel. He is talking to the officials right now, and he's moving his hands a little bit. Prognosis looks good at this point.
Great.
That's awesome.
Great news, Baldy. Great work getting into that tunnel.
From the 50.
Sure, nothing could have been more welcome to the Kendrick family than that report by our Brian Baldinger.
Josh Scobey on the carry.
Scobey picks up a couple of more yards. He took a heavy hit from Stephen Marsh. Obviously, for Phil Fulmer, not the kind of Cotton Bowl appearance he was hoping for, bringing his team in with a 6-game win streak. But this is such a young Tennessee football team. They will be heard from not only next year, but many, many years to come with this group they have.
And from Kansas State's perspective, this is the first time, if it stays like this, the Big 12 champion loser will win a bowl game.
That's the first time I've seen a K-State player slip today on this field.
Chris Claiborne falling down, taking over for Scobey. Talked about these two programs coming into the game. And you see what Kansas State has done. The third best winning percentage since 1996. Behind only Florida State and conference rival Nebraska.
Who's right after them? Volunteers. 3 and 4.
You know, the Bill Snyder story has been told so many times. As they pitch it to Claiborne, and he appears to have enough for the first down to the 40-yard line.
Another injury for the Volunteers.
I think when you talk about Bill Snyder and what he did for K-State, the first time his team won a game, it was the first college game a lot of his players had ever had in their college career. And he said that season where they were 1-10, that one game gave them hope. But the amazing thing about it, to turn a program around that has been a perennial loser, is you have to go out and recruit. And to recruit, you know, how do you get young men with physical talents to come to a place like K-State that has a history of losing? When you're recruiting against someone like Tennessee who has a history of winning, you have to do it with your personality and the personality of your coaches.
Jabari Greer, the injured Volunteer, down on the field. We'll take a timeout. 7:37 to play. All K-State. The left knee of Jabari Greer. He returned an interception in this ball game for a touchdown. A highly touted true freshman quarterback out of Jackson, Tennessee. Our Southwestern Bell game summary. The Wildcats closing in on 500 yards of total offense. And look at Beasley.
And if you look at Tennessee over here, you know, Dave kept talking about it. 1 for 10 in third down conversions. The passing game has been non-existent, but for the one touchdown drive where Clausen completed 3 for 3, taking them 76 yards.
Option pitch to Claiborne, and he dances a tackler and makes his way to the 37.
Rock gets his block every time on the perimeter. He's incredible.
I think the Tennessee DBs and linebackers are going to see 25, a purple 25 coming at them in their sleep.
This kid is just, he's tenacious. I mean, he just stays after him. Boy, Kansas State, Cotton Bowl records, 50 carries, 280 yards on those 50 carries. 5.5 yards a pop in that vicinity.
But I think you have to remember the thing that really got Kansas State into this running mode was some great connections between Jonathan Beasley and Quincy Morgan in the first half.
Then, of course, they had to come out in the second half with Morgan, the injured ankle.
Right, that was the impressive thing.
And hammered down after unable to handle the snap is Beasley. And a shot delivered by Overstreet, and the K-State faithful doesn't like it.
Boy, shotgun snap, couldn't handle it. It was a little hot, or high, or both.
Well, Overstreet's going to come unblocked from Beasley's left, and he's down as he. Now the thing is, you know, Overstreet does the right thing. He tackles, he comes in chest to chest. Didn't lead with his helmet, didn't do anything vicious or dirty, just laid a good clean hit out.
You saw him snap his head back. It wasn't due to Beasley delivering a hit. He made sure the referee knew that he wasn't leading with that helmet. He snapped it out of there.
19.
Clock running, under 6 minutes to go here in Dallas, Texas. And out of the shotgun, Beasley trying to get out of trouble, does so, plants, throws a deep ball, defender falls down. But off target on the throw to Aaron Lockett is Jonathan Beasley, and a penalty flag all the way back. That'll be a personal foul against Tennessee.
Roughing the quarterback. The fans were upset that the call wasn't made on Overstreet, but then here comes the late hit. Well after the play. He didn't even get his money's worth. That's Big Henderson.
Automatic first down.
Never got his money's worth.
I think Henderson just turned his head to look at the pass and ran into him.
There was no reason to even, I mean, he was 5 yards away. He's laughing about it almost, but I don't know. It was not the smartest thing to do. Back to the K-State running game for a second. They're up by 7. And their star receivers hurt. They come out of the locker room and run the ball right down Tennessee's throats. 2 consecutive possessions for back-to-back scores. I mean, they made a statement in that third quarter that we're going to take the ball to the ground and knock you around.
I think you got to credit their offensive line, and Milford Stevenson, their left tackle, has really been the anchor of that line all season.
Scobey continues to pile up the yards running behind Stevenson there, and he's to the 30-yard line. Let's go downstairs once again, and Brian Baldinger.
Now, standing down here in front of the Kansas State Army that travels so well with this football team, they haven't sat down the entire game. They were allotted 12,000 seats. They sold out immediately. They gave them 3,500 more that they could buy, and they've been walking up all week long during the snowstorm and the ice storm down here in Dallas to purchase more tickets. Great support from the Kansas State Wildcats fans.
You know what, Baldy? Back in 1996, Kansas State comes to play in the Cotton Bowl against BYU, and they bring 50,000 fans from Manhattan. Unbelievable.
I saw it up close and personal on their trips to Phoenix and the Fiesta Bowl. I mean, every time you turned around, there was a car with a purple flag on it, driving around the area, making the trip all the way out to the Grand Canyon State. And when you look like that, you know you're ready, whether it's in warm, sunny Arizona or cold Dallas in this Cotton Bowl.
Well, gents, I'm going to duck on down to the field for the
Cotton
Bowl trophy presentation.
That's what happens. A guy like you, Tim, you know, the lawyer, the author, the scholar, you know, you get to do those kind of trophy presentations.
I'll catch up with you.
Great being with you.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, partner.
Scobey has already rushed for nearly 150 yards, and another penalty flag comes in late. This could be yet another infraction against the Tennessee defense. We'll see.
Yep, it could be. Frustration. We got holding going against the Kansas State Wildcats. You know, there's a coach on this football field, and there he is, Phil Fulmer, the winningest, percentage-wise, active head coach. Phil Fulmer has done a heck of a job at Tennessee. I mean, Coach Snyder, we've been giving him a lot of credit, and deservedly so. I mean, Bill Snyder, as I said before, coach of the century in my mind. But Phil Fulmer, you know what? Climbing the ladder of success, you get to the top.
Offense. Penalty to refuse. 4th down.
Climb that ladder of success one rung at a time, you get to the top. There's no seat there to sit down on. People want to knock you off and watch you fall back down the other side of the ladder. To sustain the level of excellence the Tennessee program has sustained year after year after year, and Kansas State is getting in that mode now, to me, that's even a bigger accomplishment.
And two good guys.
Yep.
We had never had a chance. I had never had a chance to meet either of the head coaches. I know that you have been around Coach Snyder a number of times through the years. Little pooch kick by Beasley. Will roll down to the 3-yard line, and Jonathan Beasley doing it all here today in his final game as a Kansas State Wildcat.
Let him kick off, punt, pass, and kick.
He can do it all. Hey, brought to you by Dr. Pepper, the touchdown connection. Beasley to Morgan, 56 yards.
Impressive. Beasley, as he's getting crunched by Overstreet, delivers a strike right on the money to Morgan. Morgan makes the fingertip catch and finalizes. There's the winning team's reward right there. Look at that.
It's a beauty.
The Field Scoville Trophy. 2001 Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic. That's some nice hardware right there. There you go. That tuition's being spent very, very wisely.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
At Kansas State. They're matriculating out in Manhattan, and just a learned group right there.
Quality education.
Gotta love it. Love it. College life.
Been a rough bowl debut for Casey Clausen, but there will be many great days to come in his career. First down reception, close to one anyway, by Will Bartholomew. Today's game is produced by Jeff Gowan and directed by Rich Russo. The associate directors are Barry Landis and Derek Manning. Our associate producer is Fran Morrison. Our broadcast associate, Robert Slosby. Special thanks to our technical producer, by way of Chicago, Illinois, Craig Marlowe and his great technical staff. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. The executive producers for Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. And thanks in the booth, Eric Billigmeyer and Mark Daddy Wags Wagner.
Yes, sir. What a group we had down here this week. It was a blast with these folks. Oh, Johnson, some wheels there. Whew. Johnson closing on Clausen like he was standing still. That's a defensive end running down that quarterback.
Also like to thank Fred McClure, the chairman of the Cotton Bowl Committee, and Rick Baker, the president of the Cotton Bowl. They do such a wonderful job, and even though we're away from home, when we come to Dallas for the Cotton Bowl the last 2 years, we feel very much at home.
No doubt about it, boy. They are more than hospitable. They make you feel like $1 million.
Second down give is to Henry, and he breaks a tackle and could go the distance. Travis Henry to the 20, the 10, touchdown for the all-time leading rusher in Tennessee Volunteer history. 81 yards.
I think it was Ben Lieber that was right in the hole and missed the tackle. Ben Lieber was there and one-on-one, and running back beat linebacker on that particular occasion, and Travis Henry all of a sudden has got some significant numbers. 180 yards on 17 lugs, better than 10 a pop.
You know,
that touchdown.
And the amazing thing, we talked about it lap already today, the fact that he was only one shy of 100 for the game before this huge run, which will obviously inflate the stats, but he was having a solid game.
Absolutely. I mean, in bad situations, I mean, his team trying to come from behind, that's not conducive to a great running game, but he's legit. He's a first rounder as well.
Point after is good by Alex Walls.
He covers every base possible.
Onside kick and a nice bounce, but leaping into the air to get it, Milton Proctor in Kansas State will get the football. We once again would like to thank Ardell Copter Can, flying high above the Cotton Bowl here in Dallas, Texas.
Great beauty shots, huh? It's a historic place, this old Cotton Bowl. A lot of great players, a lot of great plays occurred right there, ladies and gentlemen.
A wonderful time, and reminding many of these young players on both teams about many of the greats that have played in the Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl through the years.
And watch out for Tennessee. True freshman quarterback, true freshman center, true freshman right tackle. They are young, and they're not going anywhere.
L. Roberson, a redshirt freshman who figures to take over next year, although he will be pushed. They've recruited a highly talented, something you talked about earlier, junior college quarterback.
Well, Kansas State
had
12 men,
12
lining
men
up in a formation. 5 yards. Still first down.
You can't run more than 11 players out in the football field and then run one out late. That's a illegal substitution, personnel violation. You have to give the defense an opportunity to match up, and that's why that rule is in place. But yeah, this young man now, this fella, L. Roberson, has got some jackhammer feet. Where do you see him run the option if they do? I'm not sure they will, but he can get there.
Native of Baytown, Texas, went to Lee High School, and he'll take off running. Carries for close to 5. He appeared in 6 games during the season. Only threw 23 passes, but ran in 33 attempts for over 200 yards.
I think one of the reasons that Bill Snyder was able to turn his program around too is the system, the schemes that he runs. Press with the cornerbacks, like in the NFL. Get up, and press, and then blitz, overload, and then offensively, and that he can attract excellent cornerbacks with his style of play, and defensive players that like that blitzing mode that want to showcase their talents. Then offensively, as diverse and multiple he is, they're ready for the pros. It's a pro-style offense, and you get that type of player.
Roberson on a quarterback draw is taken down at the 42-yard line. Well, Kansas State, along with Florida State, the only 2 schools to reach double figures.
His favorite senior class in terms of staying with it. Hey, they're 2-3 after 5 games. They're not worried about bowl games. They're worried about 500 record. And here they are in the Cotton Bowl. That's a heck of a run.
Roberson fakes a pitch, stays on his feet, breaks a couple of tackles. That's what you were talking about. And what they're looking forward to perhaps next year, should Roberson win the starting job. Mike Dunn will come in as a junior college transfer. Highly touted quarterback.
And once again, with the scheme and the system that Bill Snyder implements, you attract those kind of athletes. Everybody wants to be associated with a winner, particularly a team that wins the way Kansas State does, the system they implement.
Over 500 yards of total offense for the Wildcats here today. And now they're closing in on that carry by Scobey, of 300 of those yards coming via the ground game.
And Scobey almost getting half of that, 146 yards on 28 carries of the football and 2 touchdowns. Just a great day. Morgan, 7 catches for 145 yards. So you get a player in Scobey that rushed for 146, and Morgan caught passes for 145. And there they are hugging right there. I mean, they're just congratulating each other. I mean, they combined for 291 yards of offense. And Bill Snyder's about to get wet.
Here we go.
He's not going to like this a bit, because it's a little chilly willy out there.
It's more than a little chilly.
He's going to be. That heart's going to race a little bit on him.
And look at his senior die shot Carter. He
was totally unsuspecting. He got drilled. The Iceman knocked his glasses off. Oh, man, he got crushed, but he's happy. That's the best formation in football, the genuflect. Take a knee and leave the field.
And, hey,